And we're back.
Hey!
Welcome back to Tabletop Notch.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday to those of you enjoying the game.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Got them. Some people may be catching up on this video later because they're enjoying the Super Bowl festivities. Welcome to the VOD.
Talking to future versions of people?
Yeah. Just me in my apartment.
Yep.
You look good.
Also, a heartfelt happy birthday to my father.
Yay!
Who watches the stream. Happy birthday. He's gonna think I forgot because I haven't texted him and he doesn't watch it live, but...
You didn't text your father.
I will, because I wanted to do the, in case he was watching live, I wanted to say
wow.
it on camera.
Okay, during the intro though, text your father.
Hopefully he'll go to bed tonight and wake up and it'll be the same day. So you can...
I didn't
Happy
forget.
Literal proof that he
I'm
didn't
saying
forget.
it's Groundhog's Day, so maybe we'll have
Never
a
has
second
gotten in
chance.
trouble so fast.
The groundhog didn't see a shadow, so we won't have 6
What does
more
that
weeks of
mean?
winter.
Does that mean
Groundhog
Jillian's
update.
dead?
Early spring.
You didn't know, but this stream gives groundhog updates.
Yes.
Live groundhog updates.
Me and
Robots.
Puxatawny.
Go.
We are...
Exclamation point
Phil
groundhog.
Phil and I are like this.
Puxatawny Pete, is that what it is?
Phil.
Okay.
We're gonna dive back in
It's a Pennsylvania thing, I guess.
to chapter 34. Now that we've gotten out of Josko's castle.
Sort of.
Does anybody have any thoughts, things they want to say before we roll the intro, per usual?
I have 0 thoughts.
0 thoughts.
Or things to say.
My mind is definitely a blank.
My mind is empty.
Well,
This is
with,
gonna be a- this
with
is gonna be a
0
good
thoughts, the intro must roll.
Yeah.
Roll it.
Alright, I'll take some notes.
We're back.
Hey.
In chapter 33, Seclusion and Disillusion, the party was forced to backtrack into the library maze, which we found in a state of disarray, Most of the bookshelves have been toppled over, courtesy of our mutant friend, providing a clear view of the interior. A doorway leading into another area seemed to be the likely escape route of the creature, but it was a display case on the far wall that caught our eye first. It contained a series of cutouts, not unusual for this environment, but one of them was a dwarven man that Orba and Erland recognized as none other than Rugeni Grimari. Without the time to delve into what this might mean, we briefly detoured to track the mutant's movement up a staircase to the second floor, though we abandoned that approach after Beezaura was hurled from the landing, the near-total darkness preventing her from anticipating her adversary's approach. Plan B was returning to the hatch, and Orba's spatial awareness combined with Graven's brawn allowed us to uncover the opening and escape once more to the outer bailey. It was time to take a different approach, and using the passphrase she'd acquired at the joust, Beezaura was granted access to the main entrance, where we came across a pair of memory-based challenges before entering into a room referred to as the Gauntlet,
It's embarrassing.
which featured mostly physical trials that needed to be completed individually. Facing flashbacks of our recent orb-shattering errors, we gritted through the tests and managed just enough successes to open up the next chamber. A staircase led us to a rooftop garden, where we found a gazebo with an arcane symbol that matched the ones that we'd seen outside of Josco's cabin, though it was hard to see a way to utilize or transport it out of here. It was then that Erland discovered, after long last, the eclectic wizard himself, alone in a small living quarters, and wrapping his bandages. Josco was not keen to have an in-depth discussion about the creature that had attacked him, and was particularly resistant to any suggestions of teaming up or investigating the mutants further, believing that he was capable of dealing with it on his own. He had no problem, however, providing us with what we originally came for, a way to travel across the canyon for a small fee. For some of us, this wasn't enough, and digging a little deeper, Orba was able to glean some information about the person she was looking for up north, as well as his run-in with Grimari and the life of an operative. When it seemed we'd reach an impasse about his potential possession of a copy of Grimari's giant grimoire, we had no choice but to take our leave and return to the cabin. This was easier said than done, as the ground began to shift beneath our feet and the light went out overhead, possibly indicating some kind of trouble on the outside. Josco whispered a message to Orba about an alternate exit, and we made a run for it while dodging the falling debris. Leaping through the portal, we returned to the cabin, where the model castle and Jillian were nowhere to be found, replaced instead by a pair of Black Lion barbarian corpses, riddled with arrows. What had transpired in the hours that we'd been navigating through Josco's playhouse? What did the presence of these mutant assassins mean for our mission going forward? And given how much of the castle we explored, how close did Erland get to a copy of the grimoire without even knowing it?
Dude,
You're so
come on.
That's the worst thing I've
Oh,
ever seen.
man.
I bet he was like holding it.
We find out now,
He had it.
on chapter 34
Uh-huh.
of A Peek Beneath the Veil. Shit. Come on. Where are you? Urak, Tanama, Rook Josco. Are you in there, Josco Tibbets? The door is stuck. You're going to have to push it very hard to open it up. Don't worry. You won't break the door. Go ahead and push on it. Graven throws the door open of the cabin with great force. Though it only opens a few feet before catching on the limp feet of a bloodied black lion barbarian. And in addition to the arrow embedded just below his ribcage, there are small craters along his chest and arm that look like they were made of concentrated applications of pure force. The skin unbroken but with extensive bruising and broken blood vessels spreading out like webs across the skin. Another barbarian having met a similar fate lies just beyond this body, and you step over them to take a hurried peek around both corners of the cabin. You first look to the left, where you see the two posts with the arcane markings where Josco had directed you to place the gazebo, undisturbed as far as you can tell. And you whip your head around to the other side, where a black lion holding a pair of throwing spears has just finished throwing one of them up in the direction of the rock wall. And you trace the trajectory to the side of this kind of ravine where it deflects off of a hard stone surface, less than a foot away of Jillian Casivo, who's climbing up the side of the ravine, about 2/3 of the way up, and being pursued by black lions climbing steadily after her. You and Beezaura, the two reverse people through the door, have a moment to do something before we jump into combat. You've surprised them.
Sorry, how many are there?
Right now you can see at least 2 climbing up after her and at least 2 on the ground. So there's one with a spear that just threw a spear, there's another one with a bow, and there's 2 on the wall that are climbing up after her.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Oh my god.
You do not have time to converse.
Right.
Oh, we don't. Okay. I was about to open my mouth, but I guess I won't.
Ranged attack, go for the climbers. I'll take these.
That's it. What are you doing physically?
I'm
in addition
running straight
to the
towards
closest one?
to the ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Make an attack roll before we even go in. What are you doing?
Is one climbing up the wall like up high?
There's 2 on the wall, and they've climbed a little bit up. They're not like right at the edge of the ground.
Okay, so I just start going at have my hand.
You're headed towards the wall.
Headed towards
Great.
the wall.
Everybody roll initiative for me.
All right. So the attack roll was first.
Like they're
Yep.
a little too high for me.
Do I add my mace modifier?
Yeah. It's a
22.
22. That hits. Roll for damage.
Roll for damage. Ghostbusters.
Solid.
8 is 8 damage.
8 damage. Great. You run up and it's the one with the spear, and it's like cocking its arm back, and you catch it on the back arm, and it like spins around and it drops its spear.
Nice.
All right.
Too
Well,
much
that took
pressure.
no time,
I got an
friends.
11.
Too much pressure.
When you asked if you should leave me.
I was rolling. You hit the guy? Did some Ghostbuster damage?
I hit him for 8. Yeah, I hit
Good.
Ghostbusters.
Good.
Ghostbusters
Good.
damage. BZ, you said 11.
Yeah.
Orba's gonna just go right to the bottom there. All right, BZ 11.
Oh, man.
Great.
O
Is that us?
M G.
Wait.
Oh my God, Matt.
Oh.
What?
This
the
is
wall.
What?
The
the
wall.
side of the ravine.
Oh.
Holy cow, that's awesome.
Oh my god.
Graven,
It's gonna be a little tricky
initiation.
for you guys to
What?
see
Oh,
some of it.
13.
Maybe two.
And this is Josco's. Oops, I just bumped that.
Boo-ga-boo.
This is Josco's cabin. You just come out.
Oh my god, so cool!
Oh man.
John, this is it.
So she's trying to
I'll show you where she
climb.
is.
Okay, look at
She's just
that.
trying to climb up. I mean, she had
why would
limited
she?
options.
Right.
This was the door. Did you?
There's not like a climbing across, like it's a ravine.
So it goes
Is-
up this way, and it's up on this side too. And they came from this way.
Yeah.
This is where you guys came from, and then that way is off the cliff.
It's
That's
a
the
cliff,
canyon.
exactly. Okay.
Oh, golly. Let's hope I don't get thrown off of that.
Yeah.
Can we take a long rest right now?
Yeah, that
Right.
would be great.
The answer
Jillian,
is no.
we're gonna take a rest. Just stay put. Thanks.
Yeah, you don't mind, do you?
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Sorry that Jillian's mini's not done.
That's okay.
She looks great. She's killing it.
She looks powerful.
That's all that matters.
I don't even need this one.
Power comes in all shapes and sizes.
Thank you, Halfling.
Damn it. Good. You guys.
I have Uno spell slot.
I have like.
I have to take it.
So Beezaura spent her
Oh yeah, I have.
thing running all the way up to the edge of the wall. So this is the wall is slightly more of an incline that I'm showing it here. This was sort of her visual effect. It's not a total right angle to the ground, but it's steeper than it looks there. Graven ran up to this guy. Next through the door was
not a
who was the-
skeleton. It's a barbarian.
No. It's a guy with bow. Yeah. Was it
I was last. That's all.
you were? I think
Oh,
it was Orba was
And
next.
then Safira, then man.
So you were at like the entrance to the door, and Safira and Erland just behind you.
And you'll tell us like how much we can move with the thingies, right?
Yeah, so it still has a grid on it. The idea is it has kind of a loose, sort of clay, rocky surface to it, this size of the ravine. So you can't end your turn on a solid, stable surface.
Oh.
In addition to that, this is climbing, which costs twice as much movement.
Right.
So every 5 feet takes 10 feet of movement.
Yeah.
So,
Yikes.
but is like hoisting yourself onto one of the ledges any extra movement?
So like this for Beezaura would
Yeah.
be 10, 20, and we'll call it an extra 5 to hoist yourself onto the ledge.
So 25 to get to
Because
where.
that's all
Yes.
I have.
Okay, got it.
Great. And Beezaura, having run towards the wall, you saw 4 immediately, and there's a 5th on.
Right in front of me.
Nope. On the back side.
Oh,
Sushi.
wow,
And the,
that guy.
the canyon is
He's
off
a-
that side.
Does that guy
He's a
have
big
a
fella.
melee weapon or a?
He has a melee weapon.
Okay.
Okay, so 2 archers, the melee, and then are the guys that are climbing? Do they have like weapons out or anything? Because
Oh, they
they're
have
climbing?
like a weapon on their back, yeah.
Okay,
Some
but
of them
they're-
have like a spear and a sword and stuff. It's a little hard to tell from here.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do the people who have their weapons outranged first. So the archers got 5 as their initiative, and the sort of melee people, 7.
Still better than
Okay.
Orba.
And you hit that guy for 8.
Yes.
Great.
5 for the archer.
Taking a potion is a full action.
It is a full action.
God damn it.
You could have done that in the
I
moment.
know, but I got excited and I wanted to
could've done
hit
that
somebody.
Too. Oh boy, I still can.
And don't forget the use of dashing as well. If you aren't within range of attacking someone, you can use the additional movement to get to a higher portion of the ravine.
7 for the melee. And Jillian?
Jillian, yes. Let me roll for Jillian.
Sorry.
So I take a healing potion.
Then you do nothing else that turn.
Jillian
I
got
still have to roll
13.
how much it affects
Good.
me, right?
Yeah. 2d4 plus 2.
Other way.
Can't do this correctly.
You can peek into the
Like
frame.
we
That's what I was working on.
Like if we get hit
if I
once,
get hit once,
we
we're
go
done.
down.
Very cool.
7. Jillian had 13, so she's tied with Graven.
So these guys that I'm next to down here, they have ranged weapons.
Out currently. It looks like the barbarians, as you've seen before, they're usually strapped up pretty good. They've got like a short sword on their belt, and but right now, yeah, it would take an action for them,
For them
to
to take
unless
out
they
a
just
different-
dropped it and took it out. But yes, to swap weapons, it would take an action.
I don't have it in my cups.
You don't have any?
Okay, I think I have everybody on the thing, so I'm good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it, everybody.
Let's do it.
Oh my god.
Wow, I am struggling.
Nothing like 4 combats in one day.
Ooh.
Is it 4?
This is the
Close.
2.
Feels like it. If it's not 4, it's definitely 5.
Beezaura had an extra one because you had the
4,
shield.
5.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a shield thing.
And yeah, but all of the
That
things in
took
the
a lot out of me.
caves. Jesus, this has been a long day.
It
Okay.
has.
Who's
All
up?
right, so we're starting with Erland.
All right.
There's no windows on that side of the cabin, is there?
There are no windows in the cabin. Yeah, as you noticed when you first came in,
Yeah.
he does not have windows to the cabin. at
Okay,
all.
so how many? I don't want to knock over here. How many feet away from?
the closest
I wouldn't be able
archer-
to see that guy.
You
at
have
all.
not seen him yet. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so how many feet
10,
away from
15,
from that gentleman?
25, 30, 35, 40, 50, it looks like.
Well, that sucks.
Yep. Everything sucks, yo.
Everything is terrible. Okay, we're So let's okay. First, Erland's gonna move his 40 feet towards that guy.
Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35, 40.
And can I ready an action?
Yes.
Or no, but if can I ready an action so that to say if one of the archers turns to me, I'm throwing a dart. Is that something I could conceivably do, or how does readying?
Yes. Yeah, you just have to be specific about the conditions. You'd rather do that than throw a dart now. It does take an action to ready an action.
Oh wait. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't ready an action in addition to that to make an attack.
Right. Fine. I am going to just.
Good try.
And does taking out? I don't,
He's like, why haven't we been utilizing that? Free actions.
and does
I think I found a loophole.
does using a dart do it? Does it mean I have to take out the dart, or can I have my quarterstaff? in
Darts
it?
are ammunition
It's the
style.
thing, it's
Yes.
kinda like-
Yeah, that would not have to.
Great. So Erland's gonna run out of the cabin towards the guy that Graven just attacked, and from out of his very silly clothes that he's still wearing, scarf flying in tow, he's gonna throw a dart.
Right, make an attack roll.
Scarf flying.
6 to hit.
That misses. So it gets caught in the scarf.
I was gonna say the scarf gets wrapped around his head.
I told you to not bring the scarf with you.
And with much pomp and circumstance, that is my turn.
Okay. Safira.
Safira.
Okay, I'm gonna bolt out of the cabin.
Yep.
And then I want to take aim at the guy who's up on the wall.
Sure.
So you need to get around the corner, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna.
And he's with this one closest to Jillian?
Yes.
Great. Make an attack. This is with your regular longbow.
Yeah. 13 to hit.
13 does not.
Oh my god, we gotta get.
Yikes. Alright,
So,
guys.
and you can see it kind of stick into the rock right next to him, and he kind of flinches and looks back and sees you guys running out of the cabin there.
Okay.
You have a little bit of movement left.
I know, I'm gonna hang out here
Great.
though, yeah.
Alright, Graven.
Graven.
Holds up shield, reaches into the bag, and pops a healing potion.
Okay.
Chugs it.
Just regular healing potion.
Yeah.
Have lasted half a day.
I know.
Where's
I
my
know.
on the scouting mission?
This is the scouting.
Okay.
How many?
6.
Drunk.
The implication was, if you guys get in combat at the camp,
I get
you're
it.
fucked. So
Right.
the healing potions are all 4 on the way.
Right now.
Yeah, but I wasn't planning to use all of them.
Yes, true.
2d4 plus 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, got it.
So movement, anything that you want to do? Great. Is that Jillian?
Yeah.
It is.
Great. So Jillian is going to spend her movement trying to move up. 10, 20, 30, 40. She's going to make an athletics check as well. 18. Great. So she kind of grabs, and you can see her sort of grab onto some of the loose surface, kick it out of the way, and pull herself up.
She hasn't noticed these yet.
She has not, but she turns around now with her bow drawn, and she looks down, and she can see you guys, and she takes aim at this guy that's closest to her.
Takes aim at Erland.
13 to hit. She fires, and he's kind of flat against the rock face, and it whizzes right by him. That's her turn.
That's okay. So
Okay.
it's BZ.
Yep.
So the guy that's right above me, well, not right, but that would take more movement than I have.
You would have to
right?
dash to get there. Yeah, to get to his platform. But then if he tried to move, you would get an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
That's true.
Oof, I only have full time suffering. I'm gonna go for it.
Nice.
And then if I need to, I will fire breathe. But I'm gonna try to hit him first. So,
Okay.
Right.
yeah.
Hot
So
juice.
this will this takes both of your actions to get up here. Give me an athletics check as well.
Okay. 13.
Great. So you sort of trace the path that it looks like they've gone up, and you follow the same kind of where the sturdy rocks are, and you're like pull yourself up. Great. So you've gotten all the way up there.
Okay.
Any other special things?
No.
Cool.
Sorry.
It's okay. I think the only things you've used action, sir, so like rally or anything
Yeah.
like that.
I don't already.
You have to hit, right?
Yeah.
Not to rally.
Not
you
to
don't have
rally.
hit something. Yeah.
But we'll wait on that.
Okay.
All right, so it's the melees.
Great. So that's this one is going to make an athletics check. Passes easily. This one kind of climbs up here. And then he's going to turn, and he's got a spear. One spear. He doesn't have a bow, but he has a spear that he takes off. And he sees Beezaura starting to climb up, and he
Oh my god.
hurls the spear down.
Oh god.
5 to hit.
Yay.
And Beezaura sort of ducks her way against the rock, and it goes flying all the way down. That's that guy's turn.
See my life flash before
This
my eyes.
guy is going
Basically.
to take out a blade, and he's going to try and make 2 attacks on Beezaura here. 16 to hit.
No.
17 to hit.
Nope.
And so Beezaura's sort of against the rock with her shield up, and he can't like get around, and he's just kind of hitting his blade against
Sorry,
it.
like Indiana Jones.
So that was 1, and then he is going to try and move, which will give you an attack of opportunity. Passes the athletics check, make an attack.
Hit him.
He was supposed to fall to his death.
Oh wait.
Attack.
Oh, attack.
Attack
Yeah,
roll.
regular
Yep,
one.
regular attack roll.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Ooh. 1.
1. So great. So after your shield's still up as he like made the attacks, and by the time you bring the shield down, he's already like moving up the side of the cliff.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
And then the last one.
Oh jeez.
Oh my god.
Is he
He is.
coming in the house?
He is at the edge of the house, within melee range of you. Give me an athletics as you see him come around the corner, and he takes his big arms and he tries to grapple you.
Okay. Athletics.
Yeah.
13.
15. So he wraps his arms around Orba, and she kind of holds herself there, and he's
Oh, this
holding you
guy's
in
gonna
place. So that's his action to grapple you there.
Okay.
And so it doesn't mean you can't do stuff, but your movement speed is 0 unless you try to break the grapple.
Okay.
You cannot move.
How does that work with having my crystalline doing any kind of?
Well, you have disadvantage on any kind of
Okay.
ranged attack if it's not a melee attack.
Okay. Got it. I guess Thunderwave isn't technically ranged or melee.
No, that's a save. You can still use that.
Okay, great. Cool. Okay, hi, friend.
So you sort of hear him kind of come around the side, and he pushes the door, and he like wraps his arms around you.
Okay.
Can he make attacks while he's grappling?
Yes, he can.
Okay.
Of course.
That's the archers.
Archers, great. So the 2. So this one, sort of seeing Graven there, he's gonna throw his bow to the side, take out a little blade, and make an attack there. But he no longer has the bow. 16 to hit.
16 hits.
16 hits. Just a short sword. You take 4 slashing damage as he cuts you across the chest. And then he's gonna start to move away.
I'm
You need an attack of
gonna
opportunity.
fuck on him. 1, it's a fucking 1.
Are you kidding me?
That's
So
what
the
you
slash
get.
happens, and the blood kind
Oh
of
my God.
sprays out a little bit, and it gets in your eye, so that you can't sort of strike back. And he's gonna.
Oh my gosh.
We've been so.
Get the fuck back here.
And then this one is gonna 20. Get him into the corner here
I
and
have a plan.
fire. He's gonna make a fire at Safira because she was the one firing up at the people who were climbing. 14 to hit.
14 hits.
14 hits. Great. You take 4 piercing damage as the arrow catches you on the side.
Not good. I might be panicking a little bit.
Orba, you're up.
Okay, Orba is trapped and her face is right in this barbarian's armpit, so she's gonna take her crystal and she's gonna cast Thunderwave at level 2.
Okay.
So you need to make a Constitution saving throw, my friend.
Constitution.
Yes.
3.
Fails. Okay.
Yeah.
So he gets 3d8. Yes,
Oh,
level
that
2
is-
spell slot.
He's holding you and he watches you like raise
And I
the
go-
crystal.
Hey. Are you sure you want to do that?
10.
10 damage.
10 damage, and he gets
Great.
put. Well, oh god, he's in a corner though. Crap! He gets pushed back 10 feet.
He gets pushed back 10 feet this way.
Oh, he goes out the door?
The door was here. It is open.
Oh,
this is
I
like
see.
the-
I was on the
That's
like,
the steps
stairs.
up to
I
the, or
understand
like the
this.
little
Okay,
entrance.
got
Yeah,
it, got
that's
it,
not
got it.
still in the cabin.
Great. Oh,
Great. So you see, you clap, and it sort of concussive pushes him back, and he's trying to hold on to you, but he loses you as he gets flung back. You're no longer grappled.
great. Orba's gonna, screaming all the while, go and stand behind, like directly behind Graven.
Okay.
Ah!
20, 25, 30.
Graven, help. Okay.
So you hear this like concussive like burst behind you. I know. Sorry.
That's okay.
Can you use that at all by looking?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how far away everything is from me. Like
Like the farthest guy, like just spell range wise.
Yeah,
Like
like
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 45, 50, 55, 60.
60, 65-ish.
if I were to stand at the very
Very bottom?
at the very bottom, how close
5,
would I
10,
be?
15, 20, 25, 30, 35,
40 to that person.
And 30 to the other
30
one?
to the other one, yep. If you're standing right at the bottom.
Okay.
All right, so that's my turn. So it's back to the top
Erland.
of Erland.
Which of the two archers now does not have a bow?
This one does not have one. In fact, I can even give him a different icon. Yeah, he tosses his bow to the ground. It's just there on the ground.
Let's even give him a different look.
Okay.
He has a sword.
Stripped of his advantages.
And that's also the dude Graven hit, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Erland's gonna. I think I may. Oh, I got more room here. 5, 10, 15, 25.
25, yeah.
So Erland's going to. Oh boy, which one do we want to do here? Erland's gonna run up to the guy, and with his quarterstaff, 2 hands, and is gonna sort of like. Yeah, try and like hit his head right into the side of the ravine.
Great.
20 to hit.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Wow.
7 bludgeoning damage.
7. You give him, whoosh, and the stick like knocks his head in the ravine's right here, and it kind of like clunk, 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 and hits between them. He looks pretty beat up. He's not done.
Okay. In that case. Okay. Fine. Just gonna use my 1 extra unarmed strike, and it's so I'm guessing if I swung him this way, I'm gonna like follow it up with like a high knee to his like shoulder.
Great. Make an attack roll.
21 to hit.
That hits.
Nice,
Roll
nice,
for
nice.
damage.
Rolls over
4 bludgeoning.
Great. So the staff cracks against his head, and he bounces off the rock. And as he's sort of wobbling back, you connect with the knee, and he goes out. Lights out.
Nice.
Damn. You just Conor McGregor'd that guy.
Do you have a little movement left? Anything else?
Oh yeah, I guess I
You
got a
did
little...
25 feet of movement.
So, and that guy, no, I want to stay. I think I want to stay there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Erland actually sort of like a little disoriented, but he stays there for a second.
Can't believe I just did that.
Safira.
So I think I saw Orba past me screaming.
And you definitely heard the sound as well.
So I want to turn around towards the cabin and see if I can't fire at.
You can see him by now.
Yes, you can see.
So I'm gonna then aim right for this guy's
Great.
eye because
Make
she
an
was
attack roll.
screaming. So
Nice, great. Shamelessly.
15 to hit.
15 hits. Roll for
Nice.
damage.
Get him, Safira. Yes, it is.
And he's damaged already.
9.
That's including
Oh,
Colossus Slayer.
Colossus Slayer, which I forgot about entirely in this moment.
Excuse me.
I don't know what's happening in my soul
Excuse me,
right
what did you
now.
just say?
I was
got
just
grappled.
16.
16.
Whoa.
Wow. So
Whoa!
the dust settles, the sort of
Did you just
concussive
kill him?
blast of Orba's thunder wave, like it kicks up all this dust, and he's like waving his hands, and just as the dust settles, this arrow hits him, and he topples over the back of the ravine.
Wow.
What you get?
Holy smokes.
Orba's
Touch
laughing.
Orba again, I swear to God.
Okay.
Great.
Graven.
After Safira, it's Graven.
Alright. With 30 feet, can I get to just to the edge where he'll be 30 feet?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
And the other guy's also 30? That guy on the ground?
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. No. 5,
But-
10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
He's one off.
I can't go one. If I go one over, would they both be within 30?
15, 20, 25,
30. Is it like an area of effect?
Yeah.
This is,
30
yes.
Within 30 feet.
30-foot radius? Yeah.
Does Erland also catch fire?
Just don't.
After tossing the potion
He's like, I
away,
know Erland's in there.
So I'm gonna definitely go after that guy, where Erland is in the
Can I move so that Erland's in it?
Graven wipes the blood out of his eyes, tosses the potion bottle down, and just runs over, taking a deep breath, and shouts out like, "Scum! Bottom-feeding scum!" And like the light, channel divinity out,
Eruption of light.
eruption of light,
And the whole canyon it's getting late in the day now, and the whole sort of
Yeah.
canyon kind of lights up in this blast.
That's
Constitution saving throws for those two.
Okay, so we'll do this one first. 4.
Fail.
And the one up there, 15.
Save.
Okay, so the one on the thing saved. This one
okay.
failed.
2d10.
we need to level up.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
14 on the fail and 7 on the miss.
Nice rolls.
Of
Radiant damage. Great. The blast light. So this guy kind of ducks back to the rock, and the light kind of goes up by him, and it catches him on the side. But this guy takes the full brunt of it. He sort of like gets rattled against the side of the ravine, and he's sort of standing there, disoriented.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay.
Jillian.
Jillian, great. She continues to climb. Another acrobatics check here. Great.
Jillian, could you do something?
She's gonna get all the way up. She's near just about at the top of the ravine, and she reaches down, and she again, the sides of the bow come out, and she, and these force arrows come out.
Nice.
She makes attacks on both of them. This guy's
force
too
arrows?
far.
Blow this
Yeah.
guy off.
We'll do the higher one up first. That one misses. And the lower one, that hits. So this one, that one kind of ducks, and the arrow goes by. That one gets hit. 7 damage on that guy. And that's the one, is that the one that Graven already hit? That's the one that's saved, though, from your thing,
okay.
right? That guy.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay, so it doesn't kill him, but he takes a sort of, and she, again, immediately as it hits him, the like bruised welt starts to appear, and you recognize it from the things that were on the ground near the cabin. These sort of like broken blood vessels on the skin.
Ooh, damn. That's rough.
Great, that's what she's doing.
Okay, it's me.
All right.
Can I try to follow that guy up? Am I gonna
You
make
can.
It?
So it's not a big enough space for both of you to occupy. However, you can attempt a shove or to yank him.
That's fine.
Sure.
Give me an athletics check first on the climb.
I'm not gonna work.
Maybe. Yeah, okay, 15.
15. Great. So you start to climb. So you can see, and there's his leg there. So you can either pull yourself up and shove him, or you can try and yank him down. What do you want to do there? You might slide down with him if you yank
Yeah,
him
I
with you.
think I'm gonna try to get up so in case
Sure.
I do shove him, I'm
And
still
give him
up
a
there.
shove.
Low center of gravity.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna get up and
Great.
go.
Make a athletics check contested by his athletics check.
Oh boy.
It's one arm.
10.
6. Yes! She gets up there, and she gets up, and she pokes her head up, and immediately pulls herself up, and boom,
Right into
shoves him, and this
Yeah.
guy
Linebacker.
slides down.
Can we see him sliding down and wind
It's
up?
not an attack of opportunity,
I guess.
but he slides right down to where both of you are.
Like
In addition to that, he
fastball.
takes a little bit of falling damage. He takes 3 bludgeoning damage as he
You've been hit already, I think.
falls.
And he's next,
Yeah, he was
isn't he?
the
He's a
save
melee guy,
damage.
right?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the saved damage or the unsaved?
He was the
This is the one that did not save. That guy saved, but then Jillian hit him with the force arrow.
And
Is
now
the
it's his
climbing
turn.
up and the pushing? Does that I can't do anymore?
Yeah, because you moved, and that's an
Okay.
action to shove.
I can't do a bonus action.
You can do a bonus action. You have not done a bonus action.
Ooh, second winter rally. I'm gonna, since he just Graven, you're right next to that guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a rally.
Thanks, bro.
For Graven.
Okay, great.
So
So you see her shove him off, and then
my rally call. Fury die. So I would just roll.
just a D8 plus
D8.
charisma, but you have
Well.
But you have 0. You
I got no charisma. 4.
Great.
I loved when we found that out about you.
I know.
Great.
Shocker.
Okay.
Okay, after BZ, it's melees.
Melees. Okay, so this guy having sort of slid down, and he gets to the bottom. He sees Graven on one side and Erland on the other side, and he's got his blade, and he's gonna make an attack
You're giving
on
him
each
crazy
of you.
eyes?
Yes.
Raven 14
I love
to hit.
crazy eyes.
Erland 18 to hit. That hits. You take 6 slashing damage.
Oh wow.
So he goes for Graven, and Graven bounces off his shield and then slashes Erland across the
I
chest.
see.
That's him. So it's just this. This guy needs to make an acrobatic or athletics. Finally, someone failed this one. So he goes up and immediately starts to fall, and he falls down to this part as the loose rock kind of gets him all the way down.
He didn't pass right by Beezaura, did he?
Yeah,
yeah, I got
I
it.
like take out the flag and just try
Force
to
movement
get
doesn't
it.
provoke
You're
attacks.
really exploring what this terrain is capable of.
So that guy is like realizing that he's fallen all the way down. He's gonna take out. He's got a little bag that he opens up and he throws a dart and he's gonna throw it at Graven, who's right below him. 7 to hit.
Miss.
Great. You hold up the shield and you hear a little like ting on the top of your shield. That's it. Is the archers next or the one
Yes.
archer? Great. This guy's gonna. He's actually gonna try and climb a little bit up that cliff. Great, which he does. So he's gonna climb up here to get himself a little bit out of range, and he looks out over the battlefield, and he's gonna go for the one that he just saw murder one of his friends, which is Safira.
Yep, that's me.
13 to hit.
13 misses.
13 hits. Fires the arrow, and it goes flying by, and it kind of sticks into Josco's
Yeah,
cabin
you're
there.
next, man.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. Orba. Seeing that Erland got hit pretty good there, I think she's gonna attack the guy there. So she's going to,
The one next to Graven.
yeah, she's
And
gonna
Erland.
put out her hand and cast. Ooh, good question in my brain. What am I gonna do? Reduce speed. No, I'm gonna cast Chill Touch.
Great.
So. And
I love
make an attack.
This is the necrotic damage one?
This is the necrotic, and if they
And speed reduction or whatever? Or
no,
can't
this
heal?
is the can't heal. That's a nat 20.
Yes!
Roll for damage.
All
I
right.
saw that with my own eyes.
It was almost a 1, and I was about to be.
Yeah.
super
Yes,
mad.
it was very
It was
close.
very
That
close.
was a terrifying
Tilted.
moment there for a second.
Okay, so 7, 14 damage.
14 damage. So it's like a spectral hand or something that comes
Yeah,
out? Is that
yeah.
what it is?
So I like
Yeah.
create this shimmering hand that comes just right at his throat and just
And
grips
it
his
like
throat.
grips around his throat and then it kind of like.
Wow. And that's a frozen hand?
Graven's like,
Yeah.
You just iced him.
Okay.
Any movement?
You know what? No, I think I'm still within range of stuff, so I'm gonna stay there.
Okay.
All right, top of the order with Erland.
How many feet away is this gentleman with the arrow?
5, 10,
Gentlemen holding the arm.
5, 10, 15, 20,
25 feet with a check to make sure you climb up the thing.
Okay, so Erland just gets hit. The chill touch happens. He's going to. I guess I'm right next to that ravine, sort of, right?
You're 5 feet away from like. the
Great.
wall
So I'm going
already,
to take
yeah.
one step towards the ravine. I'm going to put my hand on it, and I'm going to use rejuvenate,
Great.
Which you learned out of a book, right?
which I learned out of a book. So I'm going to heal 2 immediately here.
Yeah.
What kind
Okay,
of
so
bug?
I'm gonna just go 1. Okay, so now I do a Constitution. Should I read rejuvenate?
It's a heal over a number of rounds. You can read
Great.
it if people. Yeah.
Using enhanced survival instincts, you can draw on the vitality of plant life around you. As a bonus action, you may heal 10 HP over 30 seconds. If you are in combat against a hostile creature, you must maintain contact with the earth or a living, non-hostile plant of your size or larger.
Non-hostile plant.
Dude loves plants.
You can't just hug a plant that's trying to fight
Right.
you.
All right, Constitution
Let's
save.
talk about this.
The plant like, get off
If it's a
me.
DC 10 Constitution saving throw and I just rolled a 10, do I pass?
That is a save.
Nice job.
All right. So now.
Praise be.
Praise be.
So you have to make an attack this turn to keep the
Yeah.
rejuvenate.
So yeah, no. I'm going to move towards that guy. And we're gonna go.
That was 5, 10, 15. Give me an athletics check as you attempt to climb.
10.
10. Okay, great. So after 20, 25, 30.
Great. And we're going two-handed quarterstaff, and I'm gonna go low on him to try and maybe knock him off.
Great.
Nice. That's smart.
Good idea.
15 to hit.
15 hits.
Yes!
Yeah.
This isn't doing well for me. Where is it? There it is.
Oh,
That is 9 bludgeoning.
9 bludgeoning.
damage.
So you
Nice.
come up and swing the staff, and his knee just gives out, like
Buckles.
buckles to the side, and he like goes to get his balance, but you can see the sort of wooziness, and he just kind of like flops over off the side.
oh, wow, he's dead.
Yeah.
There's only one left.
There is only one left that you can see.
Not bad.
Classic
They
DM
start
shit.
coming out of the mud. In the mud, they just start like
Yep.
appearing. I can see that happening.
Okay.
It's me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna whip around and look to where the arrow
That
was
guy
just
just, like-
shot at me, and he is now gone. So I'm gonna turn to this guy and fire an arrow
Great.
at
Give me an
him.
attack roll.
Oh, that was. Why do I roll like that? I know.
What is
One
it?
of these.
Yes.
What is it? 10 misses.
I
Great.
know.
That's what you get. It misses every time you do
That's what
that,
you
that
get.
lame roll.
What a horrible
And
way
the
to roll
arrow
things.
sticks into the side of me.
Then I'm gonna then, seeing that I miss, I am gonna move a little closer to him
Okay.
because it looks like also Jillian.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure. Okay.
Julian's straight chilling up there.
Graven.
So he's not far from me.
5, 10, 15. It's 20 feet to get up to him. Yeah.
20 feet. Here I come, boy.
Great. Give me an athletics check as
Yeah.
you attempt to climb.
Yeah.
14.
Great. So you grab onto the rocks and hoist yourself up, and you're heavy, but you find some solid ground there.
Try to hold myself against the side and like mace knock him off of him.
Give me an attack roll.
20. Dirty 20.
20 hits. Roll for damage.
I will.
You should.
He's like,
4 bludgeoning.
4 bludgeoning damage. Great. You give him a hit. I'm gonna give him a Constitution saving throw. See if he can like stay up, and he does so. He's able to sort of balance himself.
Yeah.
Great.
Jillian.
Jillian, great. So Jillian up at the top, seeing that you guys have dispatched a
Like,
number of
done
them.
everything for her?
She sort of, some of you can't really see this because she kind of like fires down. She's gonna make a regular attack on this guy. Misses. Goes flying by. It kind of like sticks next to Safira down at the bottom. Beezaura.
Okay. I don't know if I can do this. Can I jump down onto that guy?
You can.
And,
You can also like
flail him?
kind of slide down the side of it. Yeah.
And then just.
Give me. You don't need to make a because so you're gonna like. Just like that. Give me
That's
an attack roll.
exactly what I had in my brain.
Oh my
Give me an
god.
attack.
That was the reenactment.
Oh, that was so much better than I even imagined.
Yes, now.
With my flail, right?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
15.
15 hits.
Well done.
Is that good? Yeah.
yeah.
I believe that's gonna be a 7.
7 damage, great. And he's gonna make a Constitution saving throw. Natural 20, so he doesn't fall.
God.
Where
It's
does
very
that
crashed.
leave Beezaura?
That's okay. They're all like on this ledge, kind of like holding on. to
Can't
it.
see me,
Seriously,
can't
this is
see
so
me.
Indiana Jones. When's the train coming?
Okay. Beezaura then.
Melees.
Okay, so it's just him. Unless you want to do something. Yep.
It's okay.
Great.
I'll keep my second wind.
So in this crowded little spot, he's still got his sword, and he is going to try and make a multi-attack, and he's going to swing at Graven, and then try and push Beezaura. So give me an athletics check, and Graven, 16 to hit.
16 hits.
You good, buddy?
You take 4 slashing damage.
Athletics 14.
14. Natural 20, so he hits Graven, grabs Beezaura, and tosses her off the
I
side.
really can't do this. I'm gonna die.
You're
You
okay.
slide down there.
Oh,
You're fine. You're fine.
You're okay.
Don't panic.
Okay.
Keep it cool.
All right.
You're also only like 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever. But you know.
She's like, no!
Wasn't that bad? Overreacted. It's okay.
Shit, that's funny. Good
Okay.
stuff.
It skips it's Orba.
Yeah, it's me. Okay, seeing that my chill touch
something cool.
just went so well the first time, Orba's then gonna get a crystal, take her hand out, and cast chill touch at the last remaining guy.
Give me that.
So, and I'm going to attack. Ooh, that's a 22 to hit.
Hits, roll for damage.
Okay,
22 damage, please.
22 damage.
Freeze him.
2.
So,
Why don't you show us how it's done?
Okay, so Orba
Oh, it's perfect
casts
'cause it's
and makes
blue.
this hand appear right at the guy's. Ooh, let's go for his heart. Or no, spine. She reaches into his
Spine.
body, finds the spine, and just like pulls at it and just yanks it out of him.
He's spineless, worthless.
And you see him kind of like go limp and then fall off the side of the
He falls right in front of my face. I'm like, whoa.
Hey, I haven't had a kill cam in a while. I'm excited.
Oops, that's not the right one.
That's right. You have not.
Chaotic evil. So I don't get my second thing of heal in there because we didn't get back up to
So it would get back to the round, which means you get the second one,
Okay.
but then it stops after
Yeah.
that. Because it heals at the top of off top of your turn, right?
It says over chance if you were in 5 rounds. It's
But like when you healed, it healed it like instantly, right? When you did.
Yeah.
So when it gets back to your turn, you heal, and then it wears off if you don't attack,
Yeah.
which you don't attack. So you still got the second
Okay.
heal.
So you heal
Yep.
before you attack.
Yes.
He doesn't
And
get
then
to heal when he's like out of combat?
you have to
If you
attack
have
each
to
turn for it to.
Because
because it's
the plan.
adrenaline. It's like
Feeds off
adrenaline
of
based.
It's the.
Oh.
It's okay. We're good.
Lame.
It's okay. Battle's over, guys.
I guess.
Curse
It's
is broken.
now.
Broken people.
Until the mud tribe comes out of the wall.
So, the dead black lions litter the ground, sort of everyone taking a breath, a little sort of shell-shocked that dove right into combat after coming out of Joska's castle.
Orba looks very pleased with herself.
And you see Jillian sort of peek over the side of this ravine down at all of you. Well, I was beginning to wonder if all of you were planning on living happily ever after in that castle with Josko.
Good thing we came out.
Are you all right, Jillian?
I'm alright.
Can you see any more from up there?
No, not that I can tell. And she starts to like hold her hand on the side and kind of slide her way down, and she's sort of sliding the way down.
Sweet.
And she gets like a little halfway, and she looks again. I don't see the old fool with you. Should I be worried?
No.
I believe
Well,
he's still in the. Where is the
Where
model,
is the
Jillian?
I'll show you. And she again gets all the way to the bottom, and she gets her footing. I was worried that reinforcements might arrive and disrupt your plans. And she goes over to the edge of the canyon. And she gets down like on her chest, or her chest's on the ground, her head's kind of leaning over. You can see her arms reach over the edge, and she grabs it, and she picks it up. I deposited the model on a ledge just off the edge of the cliff. Because of the weight, it slipped in my hands a bit and it fell upside down. And I had no choice but to hope that that was only a minor inconvenience for you.
Ooh, you certainly sense the effect.
We took a bit of a tumble.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Better that than someone smashing your tiny heads.
Yeah,
She sort of walks back in the direction of the cabin. She kind of places it on the ground.
Can I look inside and see if I see Josko anywhere?
Inside the model? Yeah, make a perception check for me.
were you able to see any of our exploits?
Well, I watched you all cross the drawbridge, and the sight lines in the cabin are very limited, so as soon as it seemed that you were on your way, I stood watch at the door, so not entirely. What did you roll in?
Nat 20.
Nat 20. So you peek in, and you don't see Josco, but now that it's right side up, it seems like a lot of the pieces are kind of like slowly moving back into place. Like he has a way of like repairing it. Like it's slow, but it's like little pieces are like a top of a roof kind of comes over, and some of the pieces. So you're watching it kind of slowly trickle back together.
So cool.
Several hours passed without incident, and I spotted the barbarians approaching. I didn't know or care to know if they were simply here to use the bridge, or if they were following up on their assassin of sorts. I tried to wait them out, hoping that if they didn't hear Josco's voice, that they might be on their way. But they were persistent, and I was alone, so the element of surprise was my only friend, and I struck first. Good timing on your part, I think.
Well, we have the way across now, which I think we should use sooner rather than later.
And when you say that, she sort of, that is good news.
Yeah, Orba pulls the gazebo out of her bag.
And she sort of looks at it.
That's
the bridge.
Yes, he's a clever
It
fellow.
is.
It's going to enlarge when we put it on the poles, I would imagine. It's the bridge.
Evidently, the main system that he uses to get people across has been destroyed. This is the backup.
All right. Well, options limited, I suppose.
The creature's dead, by the way, too.
If they've been destroying this path, can we assume possibly there'd be more of them when we cross this bridge?
We didn't get a chance to ask him who or when it was destroyed, so...
Let's also remember that we are deep into Black Lion territory at this point. It's possible we run into Black Lions, and certainly possible we run into ones that have nothing to do with any of this whatsoever. This is their home, so...
We need
be
to
prepared.
We need to find a place to rest, and soon.
Yes, unfortunately, this little detour took quite a bit longer than I would have hoped. Try and make up some of that ground elsewhere.
Okay.
Perhaps you could pare down your journey to the most important details very quickly, and then we can be on our way. Anything I should know besides the fact that we got the bridge?
Well, while they're sort of talking, Erland's gonna he was like further away from the cabin. He's gonna sort of walk past them and go back into the cabin.
Sure, you just...
And I would like to scour the cabin for anything, but specifically a copy of GGG.
Is that right?
We're all kind of gathered like at the bottom.
Yeah,
of the
like
bridge,
around,
okay.
yeah.
And I'm okay to
Excited.
take my time on this. 13.
13. You sort of move things around. Again, the cabin is not huge, and you did sort of, you guys kind of picked through it. Most of the things that you see, there aren't a lot of cabinets, there aren't a lot of sort of drawers or anything to that effect. There's the children's books that were on the thing.
I'm going to take the other two. Do you remember the other
The
two
other
book
ones?
names? I'm going to grab the other
Yes.
two books.
I need
Or the other 3 books?
Dude loves books.
You took
Plants and books.
Mystery of Finlock Forest and Whispers in the Cistern.
Yeah.
The other ones are the Silly Basilisk.
Silly Basilisk.
I am the first of many.
Stealing my thing.
I am the first of many.
And A Wild and Endless March of Time.
A wild and endless.
But you do not find any secret compartments as far as you can tell. Anything that, yeah, you do not find anything beyond.
Anything then outside of GG, anything of use, perhaps for their journey forward?
He has some in what way? He has some tools on his workbench.
Yeah, it's sort of like anything that could potentially be useful for us traveling, like useful tools, weapons, food.
He
Supplies.
does not have any weapons. It does look like there is some sort of fresh meats. It seems like he hunts on his own. There's sort of some fresh, there's some rabbits. There's a couple rabbits strung up and things. I mean, you can take them if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna take two of the
Two
rabbits.
Yeah.
The woodworking
Josco's
tools.
gonna be real hungry.
The woodworking tools I stole from the tackle shack. Are they nicer or less nice than what he has?
Nicer.
They're nicer than
Yeah,
that?
Josco's stuff is all fairly,
Like
plain.
rudimentary?
Yeah, I mean,
Great.
the castle is obviously very nice. He spent a lot of time on it, but
Yeah.
tools are
Okay.
remarkable in any way.
Cool. Orba's gonna just write a little quick letter and put it with the woodworking tools in the cabin.
Okay.
Just saying good luck with your repairs.
Okay.
The Tiefling.
That's all you're writing? I'm just one of
Oh,
those.
okay. What?
I was going to talk to Jillian kind of about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's
she's-
it.
she's in the middle
You're
of-
saying I have a grace period to think about what I want to write.
Exactly.
Got it. I
If
was
you
like,
want.
okay, cool.
He didn't want to interrupt.
Thanks for filling me in.
Jillian's like asked us a question, and those two guys just walked away.
I'm gonna
Well,
go
Erland
to
wasn't
letter.
even with
Yeah.
us.
I'm also going to take this opportunity in there to change out of the silly clothes and back into Safira's cloak.
You can do that.
Kneeling down, kind of going through the barbarian bodies.
Yes. Yes. Loot.
Oh yeah.
Josco was injured, but he's well able to take care of himself. But we should probably let him know, or leave a note for him somehow, that we've killed barbarians
All right.
at his front door.
Did he-
Maybe hide the bodies.
Did he have any information as to why he was attacked, where these creatures came from?
No, but it was yesterday, I believe,
All right.
and he'd never seen anything like this before.
He said he had never seen anything like it. He did say that the barbarians and him had come to some kind of an agreement. Where they
An agreement more so than we're already aware of, that they use the
that
bridge.
they used the bridge. Yeah, no.
Just
He
that.
didn't give us much.
He's very aware of the Myconid Camp also, so
He lives here, I would imagine.
yeah.
Make an investigation check as you're rooting through.
Is there any wine in the cabin?
There is not.
No booze at all?
Just
No,
a sober
booze at all.
hermit.
4.
Oh!
So some things you don't find anything special, but you root through their pockets and things. There's 12 gold, 4 silver total on all of the corpses. And you also notice that sort of this way, a ways where you came from, you do see, it looks like they had a mule that they were walking with, and it's a ways a little way down the ravine.
Okay.
It looks like it kind of, hearing the combat, it kind of like
Or 6 horses.
scampered away a little bit. It's not like super far, but you can see it over.
Yeah.
Oh, this moves really slow.
12 gold, 4 silver.
Yes.
Not much else to tell, Jillian. This was a bit of a safe house and fun house that he had.
Now that sounds like Josco. Sounds like a man with too much time on his hands. A lot of wasted potential in my mind.
He was a bit dismissive of us as well.
He didn't give us much to go with.
I think he was pretty helpful.
Right.
If I
Differing
kind
accounts of Josco.
of take a look around the area, can I see the mule as well?
Yeah, you want to walk over to
Yeah, I kind of want to. I want to
you,
walk over.
yeah, you walk over to it. And give me an animal handling check as you get close to it, yeah.
I get the +2 because we're in the mountains, right?
Is that a wisdom-based check?
Yeah.
What is animal handling? It should say next to it.
Yeah.
Then yes, you do. You do get
Okay. Sick. 13.
13, great. So you sort of approach it slowly, and it kind of, at first it starts to scuffle away, but you approach in a non-threatening manner. And it looks like it has a couple sort of saddlebags on the mule, or bags that are hanging off of both sides.
Okay.
And in addition to that, there is something slung over the mule. Looks like a body. And the color's kind of drained from the skin, and there's a number of contusions and lacerations on the body. Looks like a human man. He's most definitely dead. He's wearing simple clothing with smudges of like earth and soot. It looks like maybe possibly a prospector or a miner that was in the mountains.
Okay.
There's a body and some bags on the mule.
I want to open one of the saddlebags carefully on the mule.
They filled with a number of items, some sort of more curious than others. There's a jar of salt, a couple vials of blood, some other white powder that make a survival check for me as you take a look at it. And this gets the bonus as well.
Yeah. 10.
And it looks like it, based on the sort of porous nature of it, looks like it might be ground bone dust.
Cool.
And some incense.
Incense?
Some incense, yeah.
Okay.
Bless you. There's also a pair of... Alright, that's enough. There's also a pair of very thin, very fine, almost like sheer pair of cloaks. Like they would not provide any warmth. They sort of drape over like a veil. And there's also a handful of caltrops in a small leather satchel.
caltrops?
Yeah, they're like little spines that they're like have multiple prongs, and you throw them along the ground so that people would step
Right,
on them. And,
okay.
you know, it's like a trap basically. And it looks like there's some blood still on the caltrops, like a little bit of dried blood.
Okay, and this is just one of the saddlebags? or
That's
have
that's
this is
both.
everything's
That's
okay.
everything.
Okay, can I pull this guy off the mule?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I lay him out flat, can I pat him down?
You can. There's nothing on him. It looks like he's been picked pretty clean.
And you said he looks like he's wearing simple clothing. He looks like maybe a miner or a prospector.
Yeah, he kind of has like smudges and stuff on his clothes that indicate like being underground, like digging, like he has, you know, smudges and so.
And you said he looks like he's drained of blood?
He looks very pale.
Very
yes.
pale?
So he's not dead.
So he did.
No, he is dead. He
Oh,
is
oh,
definitely dead.
I didn't. Could just be unconscious sometimes. I mean, I
He's
faint after
for
giving
real
blood.
dead.
And with these things, with the jar of salt, vials of the bone dust, incense, I'm assuming this was to perform some kind of ritual. Would I know, like,
Give me a
what?
history check.
How's your history go?
That was lucky because I don't think it's very good. 17.
17. It just sort of a rudimentary understanding of it. It's not something that you have a lot of experience with, but the items that they have, given like the blood and the bone dust, it seems like something for sort of a necromantic
Right.
ritual. Yes, so
Okay.
it gives you that impression that that was what the supplies were for, or could be for.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to take the saddlebag off the horse.
Sure,
then.
you can off the mule.
I
Yeah.
mean, off the mule. Sorry.
No, okay.
And
I just
and,
I would
uh,
make sure
and
not your
take it
horse.
with me. I mean, that's
Sure, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fairly big, but you could sling it over your own horse. That's
Yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna make my way back over to.
People are sort of conversing.
And we could all see the mule over there.
You saw Safira walk over to it. It was like 100 feet away, but you saw Safira wander over to it, yeah.
Any use for that mule?
Heads up. I'm gonna open the satchel.
Mm-hmm.
This looks to me like supplies for a necromancy ritual. They were taking a body with them. I'm not sure what they're. We need to be on the lookout.
Is there anything I would recognize?
You get the same impression.
Same
Yeah,
idea.
nothing sort of beyond that. I think I might have some small idea what that may relate to.
You do.
But let's discuss it on the way, shall we?
Sure.
Please.
Can I try one of these sheer cloaks? Can I take it out?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I want to try it on to see if
You
it
can.
does anything.
It doesn't do anything when you put it on. So when you put it on again, it sort of drapes over like a veil, like it comes like low over your eyes, and it drapes over. And as you sort of close it around you, it does sort of cloak you in a way that makes you feel sort of very shadowed, and like if you were in the dark, it would sort of like conceal your appearance a little better than normal. But it doesn't have any magical properties that you can tell at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
We see her do that.
Oh, yeah,
And
you
we
see
could recognize it as having some kind of effect.
Yeah, and again, it's not so much like a real effect. It's just the fabric, the way the sort of fabric drapes, it gives her like sort of a shadowy appearance. Yeah,
I wanna.
That could
it
come
seems
in
ceremonial in nature, kind of.
I want to take the anything bright that I have on off, so the scarf and the
Joska's clothes.
Joska's clothes off, and I'm
Sarah's still
gonna I'm gonna then put the sheer cloak back on.
Sure.
And there were 3, right?
2.
Two.
Nice try.
Okay.
There is 7 of those. Right?
And I'm gonna hand the other one to Orba.
Sure.
And say, put this on.
What is this?
It's a cloak. If we look like them, they might be less likely to attack us. There are only 2.
Oh, okay. I think okay.
That's all fine and well. How do we get across?
We
Okay.
present this.
Do you have it?
Shall we
I do.
try?
Yes. I'm just gonna quickly sneak in, leave the note that I've written
Okay.
with the woodworking tools.
Great.
And there you go.
Oh.
I don't care. I just don't feel like taking the time to read it out loud. It's a
we
nice.
brought the
You can
model
read it
back
out loud.
into the house.
Jillian brought it. Yeah,
She
when
did,
she
okay.
pulled it back out, she brought it back into the house.
Just leave him on the ledge.
Should I say what the note says? I'm not privately being sneaky about it.
Yeah.
Do you want to know, children?
Yeah.
Sure.
May these tools help you in your rebuilding. I'm sorry we caused so much destruction. I look forward to seeing you in your beautiful castle again. I can't thank you enough for your help. It soothed a lonely wizard's fears. Take care of yourself, please. Try to find some of your old happiness. Your light in such a dark world is very much needed. Tiefling. But you don't know that.
Great, so I left the woodworking tools. Great, I'm gonna go with the little gazebo up to the post that had the proper runic
There's
mark
2
on it.
posts, yeah.
Both have the marks?
Yes.
Cool, okay.
And I think he said you place it between them. I
Okay.
think he did.
Yeah.
Was there something else?
Should we quickly...
She is doing that right now,
Yeah.
but what do you could say?
Should we throw these bodies over the cliff?
Ooh, good idea.
Just so they're not littering his...
Put the thing down, get the bodies.
Let's go.
I'll help.
Yeah, you're gonna have to push them over the side of the canyon. Yeah, you do so.
Erland goes with Orba, doesn't do that, doesn't deal with the bodies.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you so
Everyone
much for
sees
your
that.
help.
So you place the model between
Yeah,
the 2
yeah.
pillars with the arcane symbols. And at first, it rests quietly, with no indication of any special properties. You wait for a moment. And then a deep yellow haze, almost like a low-lying fog, begins to form at the base of each pillar, the 2 pillars. And it seems to be getting drawn up in sort of small spirals and tendrils, like a plant siphoning nutrients from its roots. And as the tendrils get to the top of the pillars, they start to send out these quick flicks of energy, and these yellow little tendrils towards the gazebo, latching on. They sort of go out and they grab onto the gazebo, and they start to pull tight, eat the sort of tendrils from each pillar, pull tight, and lifts the gazebo off the ground. And they continue to pull, and it starts to grow as these tendrils of energy begin to pull at the gazebo, and it gets larger and larger and larger. And more of these tendrils flash, they fix, and it floats more than a foot off the ground until its rigidity begins to fail and it sort of warps and grows bigger suddenly, all of a sudden in one sort of fell swoop. More yellow fog pouring out from underneath the deck of the gazebo. And then all of a sudden the tendrils switch targets. They kind of let go of the gazebo and it floats there. And now the tendrils are flaring out into the distance across the canyon to where you saw the pillars on the other side. And it seems like they connect to the other side. So there's these 2 kind of long string hanging railings on either side. And the gazebo stays there for a moment. I think we should get on.
The horses.
Let's go.
They get the horses, and it's big. I mean, it's cramped with all the horses and you, but it's big enough. It's probably 25, foot diameter. And
Sure.
it's pretty big.
See the horses as we
Yeah.
get onto this scary thing.
So the horses kind of resist a little bit as you guys, because they're seeing this sort of floating small thing. Give me animal handling checks for everybody.
Your horse is jumping off the cliff.
6.
Not really.
11. 21.
16.
16. Jillian got 18.
Oh,
No, you can't add anything.
Just want everyone to know horse.
I have an
girls
actual
are the best.
1.
Horse girls they get the
Natural
best.
But 0 because it's a -1.
It's
God.
So you guys are trying to get the horses on the thing, and they're resisting. You can see them sort of scuffling, sort of pushing away, and Beezaura kind of loses hers a little bit, and it starts to run away a little bit.
Was it close enough that Erland could have conceivably, dropped his horse and tried to jump on Beezaura's?
No.
Okay.
So it starts to run away, and the gazebo seems like it's starting to move.
No, what do I...
Are we leaving it?
Ride with one of us.
Fine.
All right. And at this point, the bridge has kind of more or less formed. It has this kind of hazy yellow half-pipe look to it. And it doesn't rest thick in the air, but you can follow its trajectory. And the platform begins to move, slowly but evenly forward. And with the sun ducking behind the mountain peaks, the details of the terrain are lost. Turn to silhouettes, with magnificent purples and oranges as the backdrop. And with the depth and the shadows being cast, it's almost impossible to kind of peer down into the base of the canyon. You can't really see down there, but occasionally you'll see a shine, a reflection, that highlights what could be like a thin river sneaking through this valley. And there's nothing to do but wait here for a moment. The horses sort of uneasy but accepting their predicament, not sensing any further discomfort. They've kind of mostly gathered in the center where they don't have to look over the edge. It feels like they could fall at any moment. And the rest of the party's kind of dispersed around the edge, leaning over balconies, some of them leaning on railings. Jillian's stationed at what could conceivably be called the front, sort of as you're moving forward. She's sort of stationed there, looking ahead. And she seems to be alternating between checking a spot on her side where she was wounded and looking out into the distance for possible sort of landmarks, things that she recognizes. And judging by the speed and the distance being covered, the gazebo ride, you get the impression that it might take 15, 20 minutes. So sort of it's very slowly traversing across. And Jillian sort of turns back to the center and looks at everyone. Well, through no fault of yours, getting across the bridge has taken quite a bit longer than I'd hoped. Right now we're looking at making camp this evening, traveling all day tomorrow, and then making our final true camp, where we'll be leaving the horses and subsequently traveling on foot. At that point, we'll be making our final approach, so we'll be entering into full blackout, moving in a concealed manner, no fires at night, and traversing the terrain in short bursts. But once again, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. I said before that I might have an idea about those items that you found on the mule. After we get to the other side, we'll be heading northwest for a while. And we'll be heading past, well, we'll actually be circumventing a few small mesas that are called the Calluses. Now, one of the mesas has a monolith around which the Black Lions bury sacrifices and slain enemies. A place for necromancers to practice their arts, draw power from. Now, there are a number of these monoliths throughout the Shaki Mountain, so it's not like this one in particular should have any flurry of activity. It's possible that that's where these barbarians were headed with that corpse. When we reach the other side, we'll ride for about an hour, find a good spot to hunker down, get a full rest, rise early in the morning so we can make up some of the time that we've lost. I'd also rather be passing by the mesas in the daylight. Regular Black Lions are threatening but predictable. Their shamans and necromancers, on the other hand, can be erratic. Better to avoid that during the nighttime.
Okay.
Is passing by the monoliths a requirement, or...?
Well, we're not going directly by it. The fastest route is to go through this mesa terrain where the monolith is located, but we're going to be taking a slightly roundabout way so we don't go directly past it. Getting close, that is fairly inevitable.
Okay.
Well, and she kind of looks... Enjoy the view for a moment.
Do you need a bit of cloth to wrap around your...
I'm all right, thank you. Bit of rest and I'll be good as new.
Okay.
Is there anything we should prepare for as soon as we touch ground?
Just be ready to get on the horses and start moving. I'm not anticipating it to be terribly populated in that area, but again, keep your eyes open.
Of course.
Okay.
You guys have a moment here as you slowly traverse the canyon. It's quite peaceful, it's quite beautiful, the sort of yellow mist sort of gently guiding the gazebo across the canyon. And you see, you can't make out the details, but you see sort of the distant terrain coming closer and closer into view.
Orba will just like lean out the edge on the banister and just like kind of get as much of a peek at all the magic action happening.
Yeah, everyone's standing like, sort of next to Orba, just looking at it as well, leaning on the gazebo.
Take out my arrow, the taboo's recurve, and I want to start kind of with like the end of my robe, kind of running it along the bow and like, I don't know.
Like cleaning it off?
Cleaning it
yeah,
off,
sure.
yeah.
I'm gonna take off the Josco clothes,
Sure.
but keep them in my bag because you never know.
So who still has those? Just so I know, a couple people
I have
shed
it,
them. You have,
but I'm
yours.
wearing the cloak of a
I
barbarian.
kept it. I
Okay.
just wanted to change it to
So everybody
yeah.
kept theirs. Okay.
I did not.
Josco's,
Orange,
orange.
and purple,
yeah.
and the.
I mean,
You had one tied around your waist.
Yeah.
And you might have ditched them.
no, yeah, I ditched
I
mine.
ditched mine.
Sure, that's fine. Safira's got a lot of clothes. She got clothes. Sort of throws the orange scarf off into the canyon and like.
Oh, pretty.
Graven, anything you're doing on this ride across?
I'll go and sit next to Safira.
Okay.
Is that funny?
Just, yeah.
Is anyone willing to let me ride with them? Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
It's okay. Graven sort of separated himself
Okay.
with Safira, but we'll get to that.
Can't say that I'm familiar with the military lifestyle, but it seems like it didn't work out for you.
What gave you that impression? Yeah.
I admire your confidence and willfulness.
Do you admire it, or does it drive you insane?
I wouldn't say that, no.
Right. I think maybe we had a similar problem. The reason I left the military.
Didn't like to be told what to do.
It was by whom, I think, that I had the problem with.
Mm.
Do you have a similar problem?
With what? As I say, I do admire you.
That's not an answer.
That is to say, I would hope that you, next time you inadvertently or directly threaten someone that's an unknown entity, that you would have a bit more certainty of the situation.
Do you want to give me some more certainty about any situations?
No.
Okay. Yeah, point taken, sure.
All right. I'll just...
You're next to me, right?
Yeah, sort of lean on the railing.
Good lord. Orba's gonna just sense that you're there and just quietly say, "We need to tell them everything, Erland. I think we need to."
Is it can people overhear these conversations? Is it small enough?
No, I mean the horses are kind of making a little bit of noise. They're clip, 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 clopping on the wood. I mean, you can definitely have a covert people can clearly see that you're
Yeah.
talking. Yes, but yes, you can talk quietly enough.
About what specifically? Tiefling?
Everything, Erland. The Natural Studies Institute, Grimari, everything.
What about Grimari?
There's information that Josco shared, which I'm only going to share with everybody. Please don't take that the wrong way, but I would like to be able to share it with everybody.
What advantage do we get as a group from sharing anything?
I believe we are in over our heads, Erland, and I don't think Jillian knows that. And I think she needs to. I think everybody needs to know because we're about to enter some very dangerous situations and they don't know certain specifics. They don't know about the Wall of Force. They don't know any of it. They need to know.
We share it with Jillian first. Exclusively.
Why? Why don't you trust anybody else?
Because everyone else didn't hire me. We share it with Jillian. If she deems the information valuable, we'll let her share it with the rest of the group. And you'll let me do the talking when it comes to Marvin Bishop.
Okay. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with me?
About what?
Just asking. How's your foot?
I'm getting used to it.
Okay.
What do you want me to share with you? I feel like I've been fairly forthright about just about everything.
Okay. It is not my business to pry. I'm trying to fill in a lot of blanks here, and I don't know if I have all the answers at my fingertips, and I wish I did.
That's the point of a scouting mission, is it not?
I'm not talking about the Myconid Camp, Erland. I'm talking about everything else. Again, it's not my business.
Do you mean the Natural Studies Institute? Because that feels like it's, as you say, sort of interwoven with this particular mission now, yes?
Yes? Yeah.
You're talking around something, Tiefling.
I am, because I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm going to share with Jillian what I've been told by Josco while you are there.
All right. And we'll talk with Jillian, I suppose, when we make camp this evening, yes?
Okay. And thank you for giving me time with him. It was helpful.
Erland just keeps looking out at the landscape when she says that.
And Jillian kind of saunters over to Beezaura.
I knew that was coming. No one ever knows.
It's not true.
I have my own wife.
Since we left Mukmu, you've had to crawl through disgusting bug tunnels mostly on your own. You dove headfirst into an enchanted puzzle box that you were entirely unfamiliar with, and you've had to defend yourself against vicious black lions in their own home territory. Is this what you envisioned when you agreed to come along?
Not exactly, to be honest. I thought we were doing a simple mission, but
Having regrets, are you?
not necessarily regrets, just I'd like to make it to my own end, eventually. Jillian.
Where were you going?
When?
The day that I apprehended you along the southern coast. Where were you off to before I put you in that box?
Well, I knew my name was on a list, and I needed to get it off.
Why don't you just run? What keeps you here in Antisuyu? Catching a boat to Ira, Presidium, Shashi. It has to be less expensive and less risky than, she looks around, this.
Well, I guess I could leave you and my friends.
I don't even mean us specifically. What keeps you here on the continent? The Gentle Void has little to no presence outside of here, outside of Antisuyu.
It's true, but I think if the people from my past and where I'm from saw a halfling succeed, they think it's possible as well, for them. My family didn't have it well, and I'd like to prove myself.
When we get to the other side, let's share a horse, shall we?
I'd like that very much, exactly. Thank you.
She kind of looks you over for a moment. She, you can see her sort of piecing things together in her head or trying to figure something and doesn't seem to come together, and she... She moves away. And the gazebo continues to move in the dark of night.
One more thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Safira, what I'm trying to say is...
He was thinking about that the whole time.
Silence for some
Everyone
seconds,
shut
but
up so I can say this.
you're insight has probably been right more than any of us know. You pegged Wengami as a fink before anyone else did. That was good.
Thank you.
Especially when you took a swipe at him, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, I could tell.
But
Look, it was rash, I understand.
in front of unknown entities, Safira, I can't have you threatening them idly or not, indirectly or directly. Just know that your words have power. And in front of the wrong person, I won't suffer your threats.
Believe me, I know that more than you could possibly imagine.
Well, there are people. You are not responsible just for yourself anymore. We are all responsible for each other, as it turns
Do I
out.
really seem like someone who doesn't understand that?
Just be careful who you threaten.
You be careful too. If I remember correctly, you threatened him too.
Josco?
No, just... You've done the same. Surely you understand the impulse. Yes, you're right. I could be more careful, I understand that.
I will be too.
Sometimes my mouth moves faster than my brain can. It doesn't. You know. It's not deliberate 100% of the time, right? So it's.
I understand.
I'm gonna just go back to polishing the bow.
And with the mismatched silhouettes of Graven and Safira, sort of,
Aww.
and the rest of the setting sun behind them, the gazebo continues to move, and it gets close to the other side, and that's where we're going to take a break.
Oh my god. Oh boy.
We'll see what awaits us on the other side of the canyon.
My
Thank you guys so much for joining us as
Hey.
always.
Oh
Super
man.
Roll Sunday continues.
Super roll Sunday.
Super rolls are not been as super as I would have loved, but
More like Hooper rolls.
Hooper roll.
Hooper roll. We've
Horse
already had
Hooper
what,
roll.
3 nat ones?
Yeah, you know
Couple
what
of
is
20s
that
though.
about?
Couple
Lost
nat
my
20s, that's
horse.
true.
Lost your horse.
I was not going to make
Wait,
you lose
was
that horse
the
unless
donkey
you...
one, the smaller one?
No, that was
Okay.
He's gone too.
Because I definitely named that one.
Oh, we'll say that one stays.
Alrighty.
We also have a hell of a halftime show, right? You wanna?
Oh, yeah. Apparently better than the one that happened at the Super Bowl because Comrade Turtle said it was really bad.
Really? Oh, that stinks.
I don't even know who
They
it
were
was.
working really hard on that.
Anybody who's new to the stream, we're gonna take a quick break, and our be right back video. About a minute in, there's a video that begins that's like kind of like a recap of like the first couple episodes. There's information about what our homebrew kind of consists of, what the big plot points are, and some characters. It's really fun. It's really goofy, and it's very informative.
It also cost $25 million. Just like
Yes.
the actual Super Bowl
Some-
halftime show.
Right.
Oh yes, yes.
No, our video.
Yeah, our video.
Our video costs that much money too.
To
Yeah.
make.
Absolutely.
Time is money.
All right, we're going to throw it to break.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the other side.
See you soon,
and we'll see what
guys.
happens on the other side.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Hey.
Yeah.
Do you know what a harvesting yard is?
Remind me.
Myconids are semi-intelligent, like mushrooms, like fungus. They're being harvested to create this sort of extract.
What is that?
We don't quite know what it does, we just know that it gives some sort of superpower. Jillian is firmly on the side of it being immoral and something that should not exist on Suyu. We'll go back and forth.
Big key moment.
All right, Halfling is in a box, attacked.
You're allowed full sentences, I think. And we fight that battle, and Jillian runs off after one of the Witherlings. Yeah, and we find an underground lab that has some mysterious sort of mist and pumping, and GGG P216 first ED is written on the wall.
GGG, first edition, page 216.
There was a teacher of mine named Master Grimari, and he wrote a rather famous book called Grimari's Giant Grimoire. I sort of
Yes.
ruined his life.
It wouldn't be a stretch to say that he might blame you.
I think specifically he blames me.
Okay, so when we arrived in Orange Chupa,
Oh no, Jillian's not there. Robert Bastille. He's like a get-it-done kind of guy in Orange Chupa.
I'm concerned about Jillian. She was supposed to be here yesterday. We were separated.
Do you know what her business was after she met us?
Jillian has shut down a couple of these camps already. She was in the business of finding a third. But there are those who've come to rely on these resources, so you can see how she might be constantly in danger.
we talked to Polnick, who's kind of the authority of Orange Chupa. He just got very suspicious of the party as a whole.
The longer we stay in a place, the more things tend to blow up, I guess. I don't know, it was just bad luck.
When we attended the wine tasting, other things went wrong.
Sort of a reconnaissance mission at the Mullafer wine tasting.
Baron gave me the invitation because he's the one that requested the pieces from me. I am in need to find these chess pieces in order to get my name written off of some sort of records.
These pieces are at the tasting?
They belong to very important people. I have no idea who they are.
Beezaura was sort of off doing her chess piece, Light Whistle Chess Club reconnaissance.
Then we ended up in the basement, like fighting for our lives.
Oh yeah, doing the real fight.
While the other three were monkeying around with empty suits of armor.
I was supposed to be finding out information relating to Jillian and her whereabouts from this sort of guy, this tiefling named Armand Valliard.
Seems Jillian has been taken prisoner by a tribe of barbarians, and we have 1.5 to 3 days before the barbarians reach the Shaki Mountains.
That's not good.
No.
We got a couple leads on where we could maybe help Jillian and figure out what our next step was.
And then we hit the road, Jack. Real
And
quick.
did not come back.
No more.
Also, if we didn't leave, we were going to jail, and that's a good motivator.
Robert can no longer help us.
Okay.
Polnick seems to be after us.
Yes.
I think we ought to leave Orange Chupa.
At this very moment, or?
Today at 3 p.m., yes.
When we were trying to track down Jillian,
We hit the crossing. There was an explosion.
Like, they're here.
We
but-
went in there really spicy hot. Boom, find Jillian. She's hiding behind a crate.
Rediscovering Jillian.
to complete this Myconid Camp scouting mission.
I plan to continue and go to this Myconid Camp.
Would we also be a part of the destruction?
You blow them up, and the Myconids inside them.
They go with it. Do you think they prefer their situation as it stands?
I'm just wondering if that's the best way to dispose of them.
Have you ever thought of a way to cut the head off the snake rather than take down individual camps?
That would be something I'd look into. It's difficult to track down the source.
This isn't as effective and easy a problem to solve.
Strategery.
We got her in a carriage and we headed to Blom's house, who's a druid friend of hers that was nearby.
Which didn't last long. Attacked again. More undead.
What are we doing?
They're coming towards the house.
Gillian, there's a crossbow in the pantry behind the shelves. Get it? The others, hold the door. Nobody goes through, understand?
Either band together or die. That's when the group really comes together.
R.I.P. Blom, maybe.
Didn't enjoy that at all. That was terrible.
I don't have anything else to say to you, sir, so could you please stop asking me?
Recaps are hard.
It's really hard.
Boy,
After a tough day of working, just a big glass of Myconid extract.
It's
It's the spot.
Yeah, it's tangy.
And we're back.
Oh dear.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Hope you enjoyed your break.
You're obsessed with that voice.
We're diving right back in. As we traverse the canyon on this sort of magical slide bridge that Josco has given to us. And with the last hints of daylight left, there are a few details to make out on the far side of the canyon. A couple things strike you. The terrain as a whole seems generally more level. Whereas before your paths were very limited to continue on horseback, it seems like this area opens up a little bit. There's still hills and crags that kind of sprout out of the ground, rise tall above you, sometimes very steep. But they don't butt up quite so close against each other, leaving this sort of snaking paths that kind of wind and occasionally meet back up and then wind again as the hills kind of rise and fall. And finally, the gazebo comes to a rest on the other side. And it comes to a stop. And immediately you can see the two pillars that it reached the other on the other side begin to kind of disconnect. They're sort of seems like it's sort of deconstructing. Or...
We should probably get off of this thing.
All right.
Yes.
Let's go.
You take the horse, and the horses seem they kind of are. They're like chomping to get off. They're like getting to the sort of level terrain, familiar terrain. Immediately get off. You can see behind you some of the yellow mist is starting to fade, and the gazebo begins to shrink. And as it does so, it also seems to be going back.
Okay.
So it heads back in that direction. So in addition to the more level terrain, the other thing you notice is that there is sort of a mild increase in vegetation. In the ravine that you traveled through on the way to Josco's cabin, you might see a fern or a small tree here and there sort of pushing up through the rocky surface. But here there's a thin, patchy blanket of grass. And you wouldn't call this area lush or teeming with plant life, but there's a softer mixture of soil and pebbles beneath your feet. It's not quite as harsh a terrain. And Jillian, stepping off the lift, sort of orients herself with confidence. And though the number of available paths seem numerous and varied, she mounts her horse and immediately takes a couple of trotting steps forward, sort of aligning herself with the direction between two sort of hills that she seems to have a good idea of where she's headed. This way, everyone. Some of us will be doubling up. I will take that burden, Beezaura, and someone else will have to as well. Because now the group has 4 horses instead of 5.
Sorry.
I'm happy to double up with somebody.
Erland's gonna hop on his horse and hold a hand out to Orba.
His arm.
Orba leaves.
Turns around.
She gets back on. She gets back in the river. Like, I'm just gonna go.
Follow me, everyone. But keep your voices low and your ears open. Mm-hmm. This is not a portion of the journey that I expect to be running into anyone, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Of course. Okay.
We'll ride for a little bit, see if we can't find somewhere to make camp.
Okay. Are you in front?
Yeah, I'm riding it.
You guys ride for a little bit. It's dark, but you're able to, sort of with some of the stars coming out and the moon, it gives enough light to be able to at least follow the person in front of you, certainly, and those with dark vision are able to see. These chess pieces that you are pursuing with borderline reckless abandon
Right.
You're paying off a debt or some kind of obligation, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you'll allow me a follow-up question,
Sure.
is it a timely matter?
I wasn't given an exact amount of time, but I would think the sooner the better.
Well, I won't pretend to understand the intricacies of your motives. But you've proven yourself surprisingly reliable for someone I didn't go through my usual process of vetting. Now that we're far enough into the mountains that I don't think you're going to ditch us to follow a lead,
Right.
I can give you this. And she reaches into her bag. Pulls something out.
Oh.
A note. This doesn't replace what I've already promised you. The gold, the names of prominent figures who might have pieces for you in Mukmu, Tuktu. Call it a bit of good faith. My friend Verkilan, or VK as he goes by, he owns the Scale House. It's a bar in the moon. You might have gone by there at some point.
Yep.
A lot of people come and go through there. And as a bartender, people become accustomed to your presence around the table, making you quite invisible if you wish to be. One night, VK caught a glimpse of a drawing that a few patrons were huddled around. But at the end of the night, they held the drawing up to a flame, and they incinerated it. But VK made a sketch of it, and he gave it to me when I mentioned that I knew someone who was interested in a specific game of chess. Now, there are hard subjects to broach in Mukmu. That's one of them. Seemingly even more so now. But I trust VK. And not to worry, I didn't use your name. And she hands it over to you. I'm going to give it to you. In addition to that, I'm going to bring it up on the camera.
Oh, yeah, we can see it. We get to know your business.
It's okay.
What?
The fuck is that?
Hell.
I don't know how to play.
That's worse than it's code.
This a little bit. Just closer. It's not going to get really close, but no, this is not here. There's a little chessboard with some pieces and symbols.
Mm-hmm. What's this mean?
Any follow-up questions, you're likely to be met with disappointment. I don't know what it means. Neither does VK, and he doesn't recognize the men who are huddled around it. Now, once again, if I were in your shoes, I wouldn't go sniffing around a Mukmu trying to figure it out.
I learned that.
But, as you've already demonstrated that your own safety is a secondary concern at best when it comes to these pieces, I'll leave that to you. Not that I'm trying to tempt you, but one could make the argument that those left in Mukmu with chess pieces could be highly motivated to get rid of them, thus lessening the requirements of whatever favor you'd need to perform in exchange.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't possibly caution you enough about who you bring it up to. But if this is some kind of way to indicate who's in the club or a meeting spot in Mukmu, I don't know. I'll leave that for you to decipher for yourself.
Well, I appreciate you giving this to me. It's gonna take some deciphering, that's for sure.
It doesn't mean anything to you then, based on what you've seen.
Not exactly.
All right.
I unfortunately had minimal information about the chess pieces, just that I should find them.
Well, if you head to Tuktu, it's far less covert there.
I heard.
Plenty of people in the estate club that run various institutions in Tuktu. But again, pros and cons. Those in Tuktu, it might be more difficult to get the pieces from them because they don't have to be so clandestine about who they
Right.
approach.
And the pieces are a little more detrimental.
Yes. I
Thank you.
assume You did some digging on your own, even with the caution I gave you?
Have you heard something?
No, not in particular.
I may have mentioned it.
And how did that go?
Not too well, to be honest.
Were you threatened?
Possibly. By a certain lemonade man. He found me and took me into the alleyway by the well.
Well, for someone who has some degree of power over Mukmu, I can see why he wouldn't want the Light Whistle Estate Club encroaching on his territory.
Seems that way. He was a bit abrupt with his approach.
But he let you go.
For now, yes. I didn't give in to temptation.
And that doesn't make you think.
Think what?
You're a nobody to him, I would imagine. Why did he let you go?
I'm not sure. He doesn't know possibly the extent of why I need them, or what my past entails.
Or maybe he knows more than you think.
That could also be true.
I don't imagine that after this mission we're going to see a lot of each other, but be careful, Beezaura.
Thank you. My end result is hopefully nothing like what I've been living the past few days.
We all aspire to such lofty goals.
I intend to get mine.
I believe it.
Jillian,
Yes.
you know an awful lot about our friends here.
I know a decent bit about two of them, a little bit about one of them, and almost nothing about the fourth.
Got it. About Orba. I know she was sort of a random pick like myself. What is it that you know about her?
She would be the one on that list at the end.
I had a feeling.
I think she comes from a background where she didn't have a lot of choice. Here she has a choice. She has the power to make something of herself, or at least be a part of something larger than herself. I can imagine for someone that spent most of their life taking someone else's orders, that there's something appealing to that, even if it's dangerous, maybe even life-threatening.
Do you know what she wants out of this mission?
I think she's looking for some guidance.
From you?
Perhaps.
How would you guide her?
I know a lot of people.
Who can help her find her way?
Perhaps.
She's so young. Just was wondering where she'd be headed.
I think when we picked her up on the road, she said she was headed up north. Not specific, but that's an area that I happen to know a lot about.
Does she have anyone that she's really looking for? I know she doesn't really have much family.
I don't have a name, and I don't know much about her family. Anything that you know is probably more than what I do.
I see. All right. And with this sketch, if I do go back to Mukmu, would I go see VK first?
You can ask him if you'd like. I already asked him if he knew what this meant, and he did not seem to know. But you're free to ask him if you like. That is one person in Mukmu that I trust, so...
And what you said about the lemonade man, now you could know more than I think.
Just a guess.
Do you think it's worth summoning him again?
I like where your head is at. Ballsy is what I'm trying to say. If you do that, I would think you'd want to have something to offer him. I don't know what that is.
That would be my next question. Well, I will have the gold you give me and gave me, but I don't really have much else to offer him.
Lemonade Man desires power and control over Mukmu. You could identify one of his adversaries.
True.
Offer to serve him up, as it were.
Do you know any enemy of his personally?
No, I don't think so.
And considering we both don't like the Gentle Void, there might be a common ground to start on.
It's possible. The lack of a Gentle Void presence in Mukmu is interesting, especially given how prevalent they are in Tuktu. Lemonade Man seems to have the area well organized.
Seems that way. Well, I certainly have a lot to consider once we're done. Thank you.
Of course. Continues to ride. You guys ride along. Is there anything you'd like to say or do during this time?
Can we turn off the battle?
Yes.
Didn't want to forget.
Yeah.
That's it.
Maybe Beezaura should slide the knife out of Orba's back.
I'm just gonna stick this in my pocket where I keep all my notes very secure.
That pocket has a hole in it.
Okay, maybe I'll put it in my backpack.
There you go.
Yeah, that pocket definitely is a little loose.
Erland will sort of lean over his shoulder a little bit and say, before we settle down for the night, should we get organized as to what we need to tell Jillian?
Right, well, you said you were running point on that one, so what would you like to hit?
Well, there's what's important. There's Marvin Bishop, yes?
Yes.
Who's being held by some sort of wall of force spell, you said?
Yes.
That seems to be in some way related to the Lemonade Man.
Yes. The same wall of force spell that they are using at the camps as well.
We can assume, I suppose. Outside of that, is there anything else pertinent?
I mean, we could mention to her that Josko had one of the plants from the Natural Studies Institute.
You solved that as well, then?
Yes, I did. I kicked it. I mean, I don't know how rare...
Yeah. You don't know that it wasn't
Right.
like in a pot that identified it as the
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
But
how...
yes, the plant was in both places.
I don't know how rare those plants are. I don't know if it came from there, but it's possible if they have an arrangement with the Black Lions. That was a gift of some kind, or perhaps a gift from Grimari.
I suppose, I don't know how people know that the Natural Studies Institute conducts experiments surrounding a Myconid extract. That's not a secret.
No, I know.
Nor is it illegal.
But Josko knows what we are about to do with Jillian. If he is in any way contracted by the Lemonade Man or the Black Lions that are heading up this camp, he will maybe let them know.
A contract dispute gone wrong, perhaps?
I don't know.
We believe that the Gentle Void might be in some way related to this camp, yes?
It's a possibility, but I think if the Lemonade Man is involved, the Gentle Void might not be. They seem like two separate entities.
Or perhaps the Lemonade Man isn't trying to encroach on their territory.
Perhaps, yes.
How much does Jillian know about you?
She knows that I was a servant.
She does?
Mm-hmm.
Does she know who you served under or anything like that?
No, I didn't have to give her any kind of specifics, but I had to tell her where I was from.
Does she know what the ring is for?
No, she knows that I have it. Well, you have it.
Does she know that the Gentle Void is actively pursuing you?
Yes, I've told her that Beezaura is asking questions about me because of the Gentle Void. And I told her that if it in any way impedes the mission, I will let her know.
Do you believe that the Gentle Void trying to pursue you is not perhaps impeding the mission in this particular moment?
At the moment, we haven't really run into them much.
Does this seem untruthful? Did Orba tell Jillian that I legitimately can't remember, and I don't think Erland would know that.
Yeah, I think at Blom's I said Beezaura and the Gentle Void are curious about me.
Okay.
When you were talking to Jillian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that seems to be not...
Also, I'm thinking if they're asking Beezaura to do the dirty work for them, it's because they're anticipating not really interacting with me much. If she's their representative.
Well, it seems Beezaura is on a sort of scouting mission of her own, except you're the target.
Yes, it does seem that way.
So, assuming she hasn't passed along any information already, I agree we should be all right.
Yes. I have not told her anything, so... I hope she doesn't do it.
And there's no way Jillian, or frankly any of the members of this party, would know anything about you or your past, right? Aside from, obviously, what I know.
Aside from the information I have volunteered to you and Jillian, no. Safira's been keeping a secret for me, but other than that...
And what would that be?
A small secret.
And what would that be?
A small secret, Erland.
Tiefling, I'm about to walk into a room with my boss and divulge a great deal of information. And this does not seem pertinent that you're giving What if Safira has told Beezaura?
Safira wouldn't do that, Erland.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. I trust Safira.
All right.
You know a little about me? She knows a little about me?
This isn't a game.
I'm not playing a game, Erland. I'm trying to be smart. I feel like you would understand that of all people.
It's fair.
Thank you.
And as this conversation is happening, you hear a little Jillian kind of making a sort of little whispery whistling noise.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of points into the distance. It's hard to see, it's dark, but you can see that there's a sort of part, this like trailing end of a crag that kind of curls around and it creates this almost like a J shape if you were looking from above. So it kind of has this little enclosed area, at least on 3 sides, and Jillian's kind of pointing. I think we found our spot. For the evening, shall we?
Okay.
Heads in that direction. And it seems like it has, a little bit of coverage from the elements. And you enter this nook along the hillside. And you immediately feel the exhaustion set in. While you were out in the open, your body was sort of summoning the energy to stay on full alert in this hostile environment. But now you can feel, one at a time, the tension in your muscles begin to give. Your shoulders, and your arms, and your back, your neck.
Jeez.
And you slide off the horses. And you carry any essentials to an area in the back of this enclosure, sort of in the furthest part, where Jillian has started piling some sticks and dry grass for a fire. And the night is well upon you. It's time to regain your strength and be ready for what comes tomorrow. You guys are unpacking your things, tie up your horses. Jillian's. For tonight, I'm going to take first watch. And while I do that, I'm going to set up a number of sticks with wire running around and a small bell attached along the perimeter, just in case. Now, it's not as good as Orba's alarm spell, but I think we'll save that for a more precarious location.
Yes, I wouldn't mind even trying to learn it, actually.
We'll see about that.
Mm-hmm.
For now, the old-fashioned way will have to do. After my shift, we'll just go around. Safira, Orba, Erland, Graven, Zara. Is that fine with everyone?
Yes.
I'd like to take watch after you, if that's all right, Jillian.
No, I think we'll stick to the plan. Thank you.
I start passing out rations.
Sure.
Thank you.
You guys sort of eat for a moment. She makes a small fire that doesn't, sort of roar and give off a ton of light, but enough to sort of get a little bit of warmth, sort of a little heat and energy back in your body.
I pull out the 2 rabbits and sort of start.
Okay, yeah.
I don't really know how to cook them, so can I sort of...
I mean,
Safira would know how to
do it. I'm even doing it.
Like trying to stick a stick through the whole thing doesn't...
Monk, stop.
You guys enjoy a meal here in this sort of quiet nook in the mountains. Let the events of the day kind of wash over you. Is there anything you want to do before we head into rest?
It's 50 gold to learn a new spell. I believe,
you would probably
right?
know. Yes,
I think it
so.
is. I'm 7 short. Okay.
It's also 50 gold worth of supplies.
Oh, so how would you handle this as the DM then?
You
Would I
have
to,
not
be in
gone
town?
somewhere to be used, yes.
Okay, so no learning spells. Cool.
She turns the gold into pages.
I could
Yeah,
kind
you-
of do stuff like that.
I
Transmutation.
think Safira did have a bunch of pages and they got eaten. So.
I have a bunch of
I did.
parchment.
They did.
Who ate my pages?
But I don't think I would have enough ink
Inks
and
and
stuff.
stuff,
Yeah. Okay, never mind. Not learning it.
Anything else here?
Kind of sit down next to Erland.
All these fucking private conversations.
This area is small.
Yeah, would Jillian be able to hear me? Probably.
Yes. Unless you literally were whispering in his ear, which would be very obvious, but yes.
Okay. I'll just sit next to my bro.
Pat each other on the knee.
Well fought today, Monk.
Sure.
You guys all sit down to rest. You can do the long rest thing here now.
Oh, Christ, I'm useful again.
Spell slots.
Restore your spell slots, restore your HP. You get half of your hit dice back. Remember that?
Round it down.
Round it down.
Oh, so I only get one.
Yeah.
Lame. Sorry.
Any short rest things also come back. Action surges, animus on the bow.
Wow, I am feeling strong. Oh yeah.
Although
confused, but strong.
Confused but strong.
This is the dumbest question. I go up to full health, right?
Yes.
Great.
You dummy.
Confused but strong.
And never mind. I was gonna say
Wait,
temporary.
it's been like 8
HP, but
episodes
I'm-
since we've had a long rest.
No,
Would you keep that?
No,
And
it
then
goes
we
away.
get
Zero
the
sepsis.
hit dice.
Erland's feeling real clean
Hit
right
dice
now.
are for short rests. So you're just regaining all of your hit points now. You don't have to do hit dice. He's talking about if you used hit dice during this day's short rest.
Yeah, if you use it during a short rest, only half of them come back.
I did
So
use
good.
the very short rest.
Okay. Oh, Hellish Rebuke is back. Oh, everything's good again.
Let's fight some black line, guys.
Yeah.
People getting cocky.
Never.
And everyone also give me simultaneously perception rolls as we do our watches.
Right,
My homework is studying the game of chess this week. Figure out what that symbol means.
Yeah, Leah's gonna be learning chess now as part of her.
Actually, I have something. Yes. Oh,
Dirty 20.
Nice.
this is perception, right? Yes. Dirty 20 as well.
Oh, yeah.
17.
Perception.
Okay, Safira.
Natural 1.
Oh my god! Fucking stop!
Great.
Raven's a
I'm
very
gonna-
restless
I'm gonna
sleeper.
have to clean up after his mess.
What is honestly wrong with
I've had at least 2 a day.
Are you are you doing a
I
wrist
had-
thing? Like, what's
I
going
had
on?
two
Show us
today,
what you
too.
do.
How do you roll?
Yeah, show
What are
us
you
your
doing
roll.
wrong?
Show it.
Did you recently disturb a barrel?
If anybody has any suggestions on how to roll dice
Oh, that's the
appropriately.
problem. I see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you could roll a
It's
natural
user
20, that
error.
would have been
I
good
know,
shit.
that would have been good. It was half. I split it down the middle of the 10. Anyway. Sorry.
So,
Back
Jillian
to
takes
camp.
the first watch, and you all sit down to rest.
What did Jillian roll?
And at a certain point,
Yeah, I know.
Safira feels a sort of gentle push, wake. And as you turn, Jillian has her finger over her mouth. And she speaks quietly. I've woken you a bit early for your shift. I was hoping that we could take a little walk in private.
What?
I need your expertise and your advice.
Okay.
We'll be back within the hour.
I'm gonna stand up kind of quietly and get ready to come with her.
She starts to lead you.
This defies the rules of what?
And she walks you out of this little encampment area. She had set up the perimeter, so she kind of walks you around to make sure that you step over the wires, get around without making any kind of noise. And she moves around to so there's this sort of J shape of so you guys are in here in this little encampment area, and she walks you around the outside wall, this little sort of crag hill kind of thing, to the outside portion of it. And it's far from the tallest summit in the area, but you're still a good 80 plus feet, above the campsite, the top of this thing. Mm-hmm. And she starts to move around it, and at one point, she gets to a point with sort of a more gradual incline, and she takes one foot and she sort of puts it at the base, and she motions up. And she begins to climb. It's not like a vertical climb, but it's kind of just like being on all fours to make sure that you don't slide down. It's not like a steep climb.
Okay, so she's gonna kind of start climbing with her.
And you follow after. And you can feel pebbles kind of fluttering down the side. And you get up to the top. And there's a spectacular view of this rolling mesa region where the ground kind of dips, crests, flattens out, and then dips, and then it crests again. Over and over until it disappears into the peaks in the distance. And Jillian treads carefully over to the edge that seems to be facing kind of northward. She motions for you to get closer. Follow my finger and look out there. Allow your eyes to soft focus beyond some of the closer hills. Tell me if you can see a dim blue light just on the edge of the horizon. Make a perception check.
Oh, roll good name. Real roll. There we go. 10.
You look out. And it's hard to kind of get it. There's stars in the sky and the moonlight, and you feel like maybe you have an idea of what she's talking about, but it's hard to fixate on it so far in the distance. And you also hear the drawing of a knife. And you hear a step forward. And Jillian puts a hand on your right shoulder. And she holds her hand up. And she's balancing the knife on her finger. Sort of the handle on one side and the blade off the other. Hold it up to the horizon. Helps train the eye. And she hands it to you.
So I'm gonna take it.
Balance it on your finger.
And balance it and kind of.
And as you do so, it allows you to kind of separate the foreground and the background kind of as you sort of hold it up to the level of the horizon.
Right.
And as you do so, it allows you to more clearly separate this sort of faded blue cloud-like texture from the closer area. There is a meadow there where the blue lights are, where the haskub plant grows freely. And you have a kind of moment of recognition. The name, the haskub, and the glowing. You're familiar with this plant. It grows only in very specific environments and only in high elevations. And one of the places where it's found the most is in the mountain ranges on the border of the Rare Tulu Desert, where you served in Ki'Ira. It's a kind of white, soft, round plant, almost like a large dandelion, but with a short stem. And they usually grow in small batches of 4 or 5. And they're notable because they give off a kind of blue hue. And these were helpful landmarks when you are, serving, because they can, in the nighttime, they can be used as sort of points of reference without making a full light, like using a torch or a magical light that would give away your position. And you also recall that the pollen of these plants can be very irritating to some. It's not deadly, but many people are allergic to them, and they sometimes trigger hallucinogenic effects if you were breathing them in for long periods of time. If you were ever leading a unit into the mountains, you would need to be aware of who in your team was affected by these plants, because you didn't want an armed soldier sort of seeing double or hallucinating in the middle of, a battlefield.
Yeah.
Now, the haskub plant is notable for a couple of reasons, some of which you're likely familiar with, given your service. But out here, there's one particular thing that makes them especially interesting, which is that the Black Lions think they're cursed. They think that the evil spirits talk to you through them, which is, of course, nonsense likely brought upon by their hallucinogenic effects. I'd like to take a shortcut through this meadow. Could save us quite a bit of time, not to mention the Black Lions steer clear of it, perhaps a welcome stretch of respite from looking over our shoulder every half second. But as you know, I'm sure, some people react strongly to the pollen of the Haskub. I'm sure you've seen soldiers with these effects, not harmful to your health in the long run, but bouts of paranoia, hysteria, agitation.
Right.
It's unfortunate that compared to missions in the past, I haven't had as much time to get to know the group as a unit. Given the untimely kidnapping and all that. So here's what I'm looking for. Your expertise. Is this a group that can handle passing through the meadow with the Haskub? Go back to your days of assessing a soldier's level of competence in these areas. Is there anyone in the group that is prone to erratic behavior, unpredictability, sudden outbursts, a lack of control over their mind?
I'm assuming you mean besides myself. No, I don't think so. Actually, look, we've got our faults, obviously, and I'm not saying that we all get along swimmingly all the time.
That's
but
not what I'm talking about,
do
and I know you know it's not.
We've looked out for each other thus far.
Again, that's not what I mean. I'm not asking you to make the decision. I'm asking for your help. Help me make an informed decision. Is there anyone in this group who, I don't know, might...
Can I tell you the honest answer is I have no idea. I don't know them well enough.
You fought with them quite a bit already. You haven't noticed anything.
Their minds. I don't know. I don't know if they go... I don't know what they'll see.
All right.
Because we're not... Look, we're all here for different reasons. The variable that makes this impossible to understand is self-interest, and I don't understand. I'm not going to say with any certainty.
The question here is not to leave someone behind. The
No.
question is whether we take advantage of a possible way to gain some ground. Have you noticed anyone acting in a way that makes you worry that something could set them off at any given moment?
Well, I can tell you there are two things that worry me.
All right, let's start with those.
One thing is I don't think Erland's ever told the truth about anything. I'm fairly certain. And
Well, I don't need him to tell the truth to these plants, so...
Good thing.
no, it's a good thing because he wouldn't. I trust Graven. Very much so, actually. I trust him and Orba probably more than anyone else, but I would maybe not take him through that field just because something's wrong with him. He won't tell me, but there's something wrong with him, and I don't know what it is, and I don't want to take him through. Something's wrong with him. I don't...
All right. I feel as though I should press my luck a bit and ask you exactly what you think is wrong with him, or at least what you've seen.
I've seen him collapse. And he's had hallucinations, I know. When he was knocked out. But if it knocks him out, we don't really want to have to contend with that either, do we?
No. I know that wasn't easy. But if it eases your mind, I also trust Graven quite a lot. But that's exactly what I meant, and we won't go through the meadow.
I don't know if it's the right decision, but
Let's change subjects.
Okay.
Now it's time for the advice, which I differentiate from expertise because it has less to do with your experience and more to do with your gut. When we get to the Myconid Camp, we're going to be splitting into 2 teams. Let's call them the Surface team and the Interior team. The Surface team will be focused on the operational comings and goings of the camp, providing lookout, distractions if necessary, planning escape routes. They will be the eyes and the ears, and make no mistake about it, the Surface team is not the less dangerous job. Adaptability is key. This is probably also the team that's going to be looking into the electrolysis lab, since as far as we can determine that's on the top level. The Interior team's sole task is getting underneath that river and finding out what is in those pens. Other than myself, you're the only one in this party who has led and constructed units in an organized fashion. So, who would you put on each team? And I'd ask you to consider not only each person's individual skills, but their personalities as well. Who's likely to work together well, and more importantly, who isn't. The only requirement is that I am on the Interior team, and no need to be modest, you can place yourself wherever you'd like. What do you think?
The team that scouts at the surface, would I know this, before I ask for this question, would I know, like, are they gonna be more visible to people? Is it like...
There will definitely be more, the anticipation is there will be more activity on the surface.
Right.
So the idea that you are able to glean, everyone will be doing sort of scouting from a distance, seeing what they can tell from a distance, sort of coming, going, guards, things like that. And then you guys are going to get closer because she wants additional details. And the Surface team is going to have to probably be avoiding more people because the top layer probably has more activity. But the Interior team needs more infiltration skills. I mean, they need to get under this magical barrier somehow and find out what's in those pens. So...
Yeah. Well, look, Orba can disguise herself. So I think, if anything, putting her at the surface, where she can possibly disguise herself to look like something similar to the guards, might be useful, so she won't be noticed.
All right.
I wouldn't put her with anyone other than Erland or Graven, who she seems to trust most. Erland I want with me. Frankly, so I can keep an eye on him. I think Graven should maybe go with her, possibly Beezaura as well, although the only thing I worry about with her is asking too many questions. I worry she might try to be friendly with someone up there. Tendency to do that,
So that puts you, me, and Erland on the Interior team, and the other 3 on the Surface?
Well, Erland and I are more equipped to navigate underground, probably, and also he is just... He's very stealthy and sly, so...
That's a reluctant compliment if I've ever heard one.
Pains me to admit it, so...
Now, when I say that I prefer people who work well together, you're not filling me with confidence that you and Erland are making my A-team.
Well, I will say he is a difficult person to work well with. I'm not sure compromise is exactly in his vocabulary. But no, as you can see, we're the best of friends, and I'm sure we'll navigate very quietly together.
All right. Well, I'll take all of that into consideration. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you asking me. I know I've done almost nothing but question your authority, but I'm sure you can understand my reluctance, considering my circumstance.
You are a tremendous pain in the ass, Safira.
Yes, well, I am
And yet,
known for that, I think.
if I was in your unit back home in Kiron, I also imagine there's no one I'd rather have watching my back.
I protected my people.
Let's get some rest.
Wow.
And she starts to slide down now. You follow her. You return to the camp. And she gets into her bedroll. You finish up your watch. Seems like she sort of...
I see nothing because I rolled a 6.
It's pretty quiet.
Useless.
Yeah. You were intercepted.
And the morning comes. Everyone takes their watches. Seems to come and go.
Well, even the natural ones.
Graven's dead.
Could I do some stuff on my watch? Is that-
Sure. Yeah.
A squirrel came by
Yeah?
and killed him.
Yes.
So on I forget which watch Erland had.
It was Jillian, Safira, Orba, you.
Okay. Yeah. On Erland's watch, there's still a fire. Yeah.
No, that would be out at this point.
Oh, it out?
Yeah.
You're gonna try to burn your
Oh my god.
You have torches, I think, that you can
He
light.
tries to burn his toe off.
Yeah, it would be well out at that point. But you would have stamped it out probably before people went to sleep.
Okay, then actually, if in the area that was stamped out, Erland's gonna sort of take his tinderbox and light a small little fire.
Sure, you do.
And I want to burn all of the notes to Marvin Bishop.
Okay.
And I also want to burn the description that the guy wrote of Tristan. I believe.
Back at the checkpoint.
Back at the
Wait,
checkpoint
wait,
in
wait.
episode
Chapter
2.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So I want to
Go back and watch it.
I'd watch that again.
So I want to burn those. I also want to take. I have now 5 books from Josco, and I want to take some time and just on my watch as I'm kind of looking. I want to look through them and see if there's anything strange, if there's any markings that he's made, if there's any blank pages.
There are not. I mean, you take the time to look through them. The only thing that strikes you about them is that they seem to be in quite pristine condition. He's sort of very carefully made sure that they're not smudged, ripped, torn, in any way. There's no missing pages.
If I look through the Finlock Forest book, is there anything? Does it seem very fantastical, or does it seem like there's actually some information about Finlock Forest in there?
Perhaps. It is rather fantastical, but there does seem to be some maybe nuggets of truth. Again, you're not familiar with the area, so it's hard to identify what is and what isn't. There was that portion about back when Beezaura was looking through the book to find the colors. It was not unusual to seek guidance from the nomads of Rikra who wore their tangerine painted shields like turtle shells along the shore. The Rikra is the little sort of isthmus that connects Finlock Forest to mainland Antisuyu. So it's possible that that's based on real people, these sort of nomads of Rikra that hang near the shorelines there. There's sort of little tidbits in there that, I mean, again, you don't know the area, but you think, okay, maybe that might be based on something.
Anything about the Shade Assembly at all?
It does not say anything.
Can you imagine? It's
Here's how you get in. There's a hole.
If I were to wake someone up briefly, would that ruin their long rest?
Possibly, yes. You could probably talk to Orba right at the top of her watch.
Okay. Last watch?
Your second one, Beezaura's last.
Okay, cool. That's it then. I'll snoop around the books then.
Okay. Sure. Anything else before we rise in the morning? Beezaura watches the sun rise in this final shift, observing the transformation of the hillsides from their dormant shadowed state to the full complement of the Shaki Mountain palette, coral tones with tufts of green and a clear blue sky overhead. The wind has already picked up a little bit, and it looks to kind of change direction frequently as it bends around the rising and falling earth. The sort of low-lying grasses, you see them kind of sort of back and forth as it kind of whips around these little mesas. And you gather your things. People begin to wake. People start to gather their things, and Jillian seems like she's disassembling. She's sort of pulling the little spikes out of the ground, wrapping the wire. People getting ready. Getting ready to go.
Orba takes out her plant and waters it.
Sure.
Holds it in the sun while she does stuff to go.
Are you trying to do that privately?
No.
People see Orba sort of watering her plant?
Erland looks at it, gives Orba a look. Which one is it again?
It's the breathing bamboo.
Yeah, it's like a bamboo that sort of expands and contracts.
That was not at Blom's, right?
It was not at Blom's. It was
in
Gramar's office. Yeah.
Okay.
Glad we had a quiet night.
How's everyone feeling?
Well rested.
Fantastic.
Much better.
I guess I'll pass out rations too to everybody.
I'm gonna point at the plant. What is it?
I don't know. But it seems to like sunshine and water, so I'm going to keep giving it to it.
Where'd you get it?
Evil plant laugh.
Well, did you steal it? Why are you laughing like that?
I did.
Where'd you steal it?
I stole it. We're gonna talk about it later, but you'll hear about it. She just looks at the plant.
Seems to be doing much better now that
Yeah?
you've kind of nursed it, decently well.
She got a little pet.
Kind of like.
Is it meant to do that?
I don't know. I think so.
Okay.
This is the first time I've seen
Do anything? What?
I don't know, Safira.
I'm gonna.
It's in like a
Yeah,
little
it's
bag
in
or something. Yeah, like
yeah.
a little sack. Yeah.
Can I touch it?
You can. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Does it do anything?
It's like malleable. It doesn't react to the touch, but it's malleable. You press on it and it kind of like warps a little bit, and then it kind of comes back into shape. It looks like it would be almost hard to the touch, but then it's soft. It kind of has a disconnect between how it looks and how it
Do I
feels.
recognize it at all?
Does it feel anything like that we went through when we were going? Does it feel like that?
Like that viscous kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh no, it does not.
It's just squishy?
Yeah, squishy.
It seems to slow down its breathing if you forget to water it, which I did for a little bit. But it's better now.
I've got a lot of questions, but okay.
I'll answer them, but not right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning.
I'm just She's just giving it a weird look. She doesn't trust it. Something wrong with it.
Doesn't trust plants, doesn't trust plant boys.
Should we start moving?
Let's go. Everyone ready?
Of course.
Yep.
Alright.
My plate.
You guys start to ride. And you ride for a little over an hour. Jillian seems to have picked up her pace a little bit. She seems to try and be making a little better time. And whenever the path converges, she does appear to be veering to the left, not in a way that's like looping you around, but as the branching roots kind of spread out in front of you, she continues to shift in that direction. And as you do that, on your right, whenever you have a clear sight line between the hills, you see the terrain slowly shift over time in the way that the tops of these hills flatten out. So they go up and then they become very flat and then they dip down again. These seem to be the mesas that she was referring to. These could very well be the calluses. And she's using them as a guide. She sort of follows along. She keeps them in her sight off to the right, and she's kind of following along the periphery. So she wants to stay headed in that direction without traveling directly through them, because as she mentioned, it's a place of some note for the Black Lions. And you continue to ride. And you get to an area where it looks like there's quite a few sort of boulders and chunks of earth that seem to have broken off and kind of rolled down the hillsides. You kind of have to, it's not like congested, but you kind of have to weave the horses kind of gently between them as these sort of rock surfaces are up and around in front of you. Give me some perception checks as we ride through.
Oh boy.
Nice.
8.
13.
19.
Or 18.
Graven keeps an eye out as he's moving. And along one of the hilltops, sort of up to your left, it's not like a steep cliff and then up, but it kind of rolls up to the left a little bit. You catch a quick flash of a grayish color. And it wouldn't normally make an impression given the sort of abundance of rocks and outcroppings. There's gray rocks and things, similar color. But the further you ride, it seems to stay in place distance-wise from you, as if it's kind of following along, hovering just above the ridgeline. And it continues to do so. And another point, you see another one kind of pop up, and then kind of disappear.
What the?
And one kind of follows along. It's hard to tell what it is. It's just like a bump.
It's Batman.
It's following along.
Maybe. Like up at the top of the hill, which you can't really see up there, there's like a little gray circle, bump, rock, something. You can't tell what it is.
Okay.
But it does seem like as you ride, like it should have gone like this, but instead it stays like along.
Okay. I'm gonna ride up next to Jillian.
Sure. Who is sharing horses at this moment? Just so
I'm
know.
with Jillian.
Sure, you're on Jillian's horse. Who else is sharing horses?
Can I have hopped up on the back of Safira's?
Sure. Yeah, two of them. So, so Graven, you ride.
No consent.
So you're riding up to Jillian, but Beezaura is also there on the horse.
Happy girl.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna kind of. Jillian.
Yes.
Do you see something possibly traveling along with us here?
And she holds her hand up. Where am I looking?
You try to describe it, and it seems to. While we move, I can't tell what it is, but
you saw movement?
Not exactly. Maybe it was a trick of the light, but
What did it look like?
He's up with.
Can I?
Yeah, you're on Jillian's horse. Yeah, so yes.
What was it, Graven?
Maybe nothing, but. Okay, do I still see it?
Yeah.
And
but it's like it right now because you're not moving. It's stationary, and it really could like be a rock. Like it's hard to.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Why is it getting it for music?
Move slowly with me.
All right. Everyone else, stay for a moment.
There.
She sees it now. Yes, I see. She rides a little further, and again, it kind of follows along.
Do you see as it follows?
Can I see it?
Yeah.
I see it as well.
Someone or something up there, you think? Well, it seems to already be aware of our presence. Hello? And you hear it out, and it kind of rings out a little bit. Nothing for a moment.
Jillian?
Yes, something up on the ridgeline following us. I don't know, we're not sure. Jillian...
Could it simply be a shadow or something?
She slides off her horse. Perhaps. Not sure it's interested in us.
Can I take out my spyglass and I'll put my plant away and safe?
How far is it away?
Make a perception check with advantage. I mean, the hill kind of rolls up. It's probably 80, 90 feet above you.
Okay.
And to the left.
And again, it's like 11.
12.
Yeah, 12. Sort of take a peek. And it's you sort of focus in on it, and it's like a round gray, and at the top it kind of has a little pinched portion. Looks like it could be a hood, or like the top of a cloak, a hood.
Oh no.
Gray. Does it look like her gray cloak? That kind of gray?
No.
Yep, that hit the cloak. That cloak?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty nondescript. It's a gray cloak.
Not like the one in the mule, though.
No, that was like a black
Like a
sheer.
veil.
Yeah, like a veil. Yeah, no, it does not look like that.
I will relay all of that to Jillian.
And you hear behind you a little... And a little rope comes down off the side of the hill on the other side. Mm-hmm. And someone jumps off. And they're holding the rope, and they kind of slide down it a little bit.
Ready in action.
Yeah,
You can.
crystal.
Yep.
A mace.
And Jillian does the
I'll put
same
my
thing. She
hand on my
draws.
Are just
And the
like,
person goes down, and it seems at a certain point it tightens and they get their feet against the side of this sort of thing, so they're like repelled down. So they have it tied around their waist, or like circled around their waist, and he's got a hand crossbow. It looks like a human with a hand crossbow and a gray cloak, and he's
Who are you?
held, and and as he gets all the way down, you hear and another one.
Oh
Okay,
There's a
I'm
number
gonna
of people
Put my mace away.
kind of all holding. Hold your fire. These are not black lions. And he holds his crossbow. And the other one's kind of slowly. And you look up to the top, and it looks like the other end, it's not tied to like a rock or anything. There's a person up there with the rope tied, so they're like holding the person down. So they have like a partner that's rappelling them down the sides of these steep hills.
Who are you?
Who are you? Prospectors? Hunters?
Safira.
We asked you first.
And they've all brought their weapons up. We are of the Lakafuyu. And all of a sudden, the gray cloaks click back into your memory. It's the same kind of gray cloaks that you saw at the ceremony.
Yep. Got it.
Next to the river.
I'm just gonna look at Jillian.
And she kind of looks back at you from... We're on a mission. We've no objection to you passing through. And he sort of puts his weapon down. And he gives 2 tugs on the rope.
What is your mission?
And they seem to give him more slack, so he
He
it comes
repels
down.
up.
And he sort of undoes it a little bit. And he lets it go back up, and it seems to be pulling up.
What is your mission?
And he comes up to you. And he seems to be, it's a human man with sort of blonde hair that looks like it was shaved at one point, but now it's just starting to grow back, so it's sort of a little thin veil of hair on top of his head. We've reason to believe that the Black Lions have started construction on a soul shelter in the Calluses.
A soul shelter?
Soul shelter.
It's an abomination. An affront to the gods. And Jillian kind of steps forward. Yes, it's a sort of cell, isn't it? With a powerful ward that shields you from interference from anything that's not on the material plane of existence. Think of it as a sort of blind spot for the otherworldly and the divine. And you can see some of these men kind of nod in sort of like anger and disgust. It's nothing more than a way to blaspheme and perform unspeakable acts without the judgment of the divine. We will not permit them to exist. We were told that they were constructing one near one of their monoliths, so we're going from monolith to monolith until we find it.
Have you run into any problems yet?
Only black lions?
You were able to defeat them?
Yes. He's sort of holding the hand crossbow. And you can see he also kind of has a blade off to his side. These guys seem very well armed. And in addition to that, their uniforms, even in this sort of environment where it's dusty and there's a lot of dirt, and they've kept very strict uniform code. They're all sort of tied at the waist and clean uniforms. They all have the same boots, laced up, well constructed. Like they all have this kind of uniformity and look to them.
Do the Black Lions that you've come across seem to be well organized?
Nowhere more organized than usual. What do you mean?
Is there a reason for them building this now? Has something changed recently?
I don't know. They're necromancers. I can see why they wouldn't want their horrible acts seen by the gods.
Wouldn't they... I don't really know much about the necromancers, but wouldn't they want the gods to see that they're mocking them? Or no?
No, not if they didn't want the gods to intervene.
Have they?
I don't know.
Oh.
We have one mission in mind, and it is to make sure that that soul shelter is never built.
Okay.
Okay, well, we have no intention of impeding you on that journey in any way, I don't believe. I don't know why we would.
Like I said, we have no problem with you passing through. And he gives you kind of a scouring kind of look over everybody. So what? Hunters, prospectors, what are you?
I'll just wait for Jillian to answer that one.
And Jillian thinks for a moment. Hunters. We're hunting a very specific kind of prey. And he sort of... Well, good luck then. Stay away from the calluses. There will be bloodshed there.
Oh my goodness.
Make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Dude.
He didn't even say anything.
I mean, does he count?
Oh my god.
6.
Oh my god, dude.
At least it's not a 1.
What spells do you have equipped?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Good thing we just took that.
Cantrips included?
No. None. But
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my
We're about to get in a fight, you guys.
Yep.
Thanks, Graven.
So I had pulled this one out. No.
I
Okay.
do need
Peaceful
to read
passing.
something.
Cure wounds.
Oh man.
Healing word. You want to use one of those? No? Okay. Got it. That's cool.
Oh brother.
Guiding bolt, hold person in silence.
Matt's like, oh,
Shit. Oh no.
dude, you sit mounted on the horse, and you feel this sort of overwhelming kind of force take over portions of your body that you can't control, and you swing one leg over and slide off the horse.
Graven.
And you start to walk.
Graven.
Can I hear them?
You can.
Graven, I think we're about to get going.
And your
Graven?
legs continue to move forward.
Help me. Stop me.
Jillian?
I'm
Erland
gonna get
hears
off
that.
my
Gonna
horse.
jump off the horse and just jump on Graven's back.
Give me
I'm
athletics.
wrapping around his legs.
Are you?
Yeah.
Everyone, give me athletics checks. And as Graven's sort of walking forward, the guy with his crossbow, he sort of hears Graven's footsteps,
10.
and he
Silence me.
turns.
Silence
yeah,
me.
Orba like rips off a piece of
11.
the black lion thing and starts to gag Graven.
Okay, what was it?
I have a 10 around his legs.
10,
11.
11,
6.
6.
You loser.
You guys all go, and you guys grab the legs, and Graven drags
No!
you forward.
I'm like
and you go
being
to grab
dragged
his
on the
arms, and he pulls his arm free. And Erland kind of goes for a hug, and he grabs Erland and kind of chugs him off to the side.
Does Jillian do anything?
And she's sort of waiting, and she has her bow drawn, and at this point she kind of had it, and now she's sort of looking at Graven and looking at the other person.
Yeah, so Orba takes the wrap and kind of climbs up on his back.
Give me an acrobatics
Yeah.
check as you climb up on his back.
Nat 20.
Orba sort of grabs where his belt is and puts her foot there and propels herself up, and she whoosh, wraps it around your mouth. And you're sort of...
And I'll take, if there's time, I'll take the manacles out of my bag and at least get his hand that I know has something in it and try to like...
Okay, so the wrap goes around. Does that limit your pool of spells?
they
the verbal
all have
components?
verbal.
They all have verbal
Every one
components.
of them
Okay.
has a V.
So you sort of press forward a little bit, and Orba, what you can do is you could like clasp one of his things, and his arms are apart.
Okay,
so
got
you wouldn't
it.
be able to put them together. You could put it on yourself or on something else, the other end of the manacles.
Yeah, I'm gonna, Orba, like, as she's going like, it's okay, and she's gonna take the hand that has it in it and get one wrist and then put hers on the other.
You're gonna put yours on the other.
Yeah, no.
As you're whispering, don't worry. Give me a persuasion check.
Okay.
I can't say anything.
And give me a wisdom saving throw.
Persuasion?
Yeah.
Oh, God. 19.
15.
So you sort of break through this, like, faded consciousness, and you feel the wrap around your thing, and you hear Orba's voice in your ear.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. And you get a moment of consciousness, and it feels like your arm, you're like bringing the arm up, but for a second, you're able to relax it just a little bit, and Orba's able to...
Can I bring my hands together?
No, she clasped one around hers and one around yours.
Okay.
So you've got Orba on the other end of this sort of clasped set of manacles, and you start to move forward a little bit. And Orba, are you like what are you doing with the other end?
I think I'm on his back, and I have the arm that's attached to his. I'm gonna put like behind my back so I can keep him from having both hands in front of him.
So okay, so you're pulling your hand that's attached to it like behind him. Is that?
Yeah. So it's gonna be behind. If I'm on his back, like piggybacking him, I have my arm behind my back, so I'm pulling his hand.
Sure.
Up and
So it's
back.
like both arms behind your back, sort of.
Well, one of mine is holding onto his shoulders.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can
So
stay-
on that side
stay
and
on
pulling
him.
the arm. So you see Graven kind of moving forward with Orba.
Stay here, Graven.
And
stay
as
here.
this is happening, you can see the guys who sort of have repelled and were climbing their way back up are now sort of descending again, and there's a lot
It's
of
okay.
people
I'm
with hand
gonna. Can I
crossbows out.
run and get between? Can I get in front of Graven?
Yes, you
And
can.
I'm gonna stand there like this, trying to like stay in front of him.
And you block
at
the
least.
way?
Yeah.
Do we know? I can't remember. Do we
stop.
know that you have drow poison in your bag? Did you tell us that?
I don't have dry.
I thought you had something to
No,
knock
he
yourself
has the
out.
gel.
You don't have anything to knock yourself? Oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And I'm gonna shout to Jillian, get rid of them.
And Jillian takes a look around, and that's where we're going to end for this evening.
No!
What?
There's so much time!
But the things.
With the group
Oh my
potentially
God.
hurtling.
We're all hanging on to
towards-
Graven's limbs.
Graven.
No, I'm like dragging on
Graven
in the mud.
fighting against his baser impulses.
Oh my God.
We end for the evening
No.
in this valley in the Shocky Mountains, where we will pick it up.
Desperately wrestling against myself.
Oh my God.
Those failed athletics, he's just like shrugging them off.
Yeah, what the fuck, you guys? Come on!
Oh, we all three of us tried to
did.
jump
You
you.
failed the Constitution saving.
That's true.
Alright.
She stopped you from casting a spell at that moment by wrapping that thing around your mouth.
I was like, verbal. Shut me up.
Yep.
Shut me up,
The
shut me
number
up,
of magic users I have bound and gagged is starting
She's
to
like,
really.
I know what to do.
Yep. I know what's up.
Oh.
Oh my God, I'm so
God.
sorry.
Oh my
Wait, I'm
God.
gonna take care of you. It's gonna be
How
okay.
does that
I got you. I
Remember
got
when
you.
I said
happened?
something's wrong with Graven?
Nothing wrong with me. I just
Julian's like, Safira was right.
Eh,
Safira was right.
Good thing we didn't go the other way.
What the fuck are they doing up here? Get out of here.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday
Thanks
to
for
everybody.
tuning in.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll
Wow,
be
what a great
back.
crowd tonight.
Thank you so much. We'll be back next week, episode 35,
Come watch
same
me
time.
fight my friend.
30.
Or
I'm
not.
attached
Maybe
to
your
you,
friends
bro.
will see.
You're not going nowhere. If you're new to the stream, please check out our YouTube where there's a bunch of recaps of old episodes and all the old episodes as well, and you can get caught up before next week. So you're like, what's going on with Graven right now?
Jordan/Orba does excellent sort of quick recaps of past episodes. And join us next time. We'll pick it up. And we love to be here. We'll see you there.
Yeah.
Sunday.
So much fun.
Anything else? Happy birthday again, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Hey,
Happy birthday.
Good night, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.
Oh my god,
Oh
dude.
my God, Graven.